Picture a world crumbling under the weight of monsters and the undead, where humanity's last stand feels like a fading ember. The hero, Aos, faces off against a towering Death Knight, his massive sword gleaming with menace. Aos pours everything into his mightiest strike, but it's not enough. He collapses, knees hitting the ground, his body burning from the knight's dark mana. As the flames consume him, he gasps, "The Death Knight, he's on another level." The Death Knight looms over the wreckage, untouched, his terrifying mask hiding whatever lies beneath. He surveys the ruined region, his army's destruction stretching as far as the eye can see. Slowly, he removes his helmet. Behind those glowing red eyes, blue, human eyes stare out, innocent yet piercing. At the heart of this chaos stands Dorgo, the Archlich, cloaked in a robe that seems to swallow light itself. He's grinning, reveling in the carnage. Piles of human bodies lie at his feet, and before him kneels the captured emperor, Adel Light. Dorgo's waited 1,000 years for this moment, and it's sweeter than he ever imagined. The longer the wait, the sweeter the revenge, he muses, his voice dripping with malice. Adel, tears streaming down his face, screams, "Dorgo, isn't hell enough for you to reside in?" But Dorgo just laughs, soaking in the emperor's despair. "Are you done blabbering?" he mocks. "Let's proceed with the coronation." Adel's eyes widen. "You're holding a coronation?" Dorgo flashes a peace sign, smug as ever. "I've unified the continent for the first time in history. That makes me emperor, don't you think?" He turns to his warriors, his gaze settling on the Death Knight. "Well done," he says, "especially you, my loyal knight." His minions bring forward the imperial crown, and the Death Knight carries it, stepping toward Dorgo with purpose. Dorgo's voice softens, almost proud. "You're my most loyal servant. Your contributions made this victory possible." But then his tone shifts, cruel and dismissive. "Though, why reward a slave? You were made to serve me, to do everything I want." He's still ranting when the Death Knight hurls the crown into the air. It spins, glinting, before the knight's blade shatters it into pieces. In one fluid motion, he lunges at Dorgo, striking him square in the chest. The other servants freeze, stunned, as Dorgo's dark red aura erupts, trying to crush the knight. But the knight dodges, swift and untouchable, his blade piercing Dorgo's defenses like they're nothing. Dorgo staggers, clutching his chest, confusion twisting his face. The knight's red eyes fade, revealing those human blue eyes again. "I'm pleased," the knight says, his voice calm, human. "Finally moving of my own volition." Dorgo's shock deepens. "I wiped every bit of your consciousness." The knight's gaze hardens. "You only thought you did. I was aware of everything, trapped in my own body. Is no lowing." Dorgo, ever the manipulator, smirks. "Impressive. My masterpiece. Vent your anger for now, I'll regain control of you soon enough." The other servants charge, but the knight unleashes a massive wave of energy, obliterating them in a single strike. Dorgo's jaw drops. His right-hand men, gone in an instant. Desperate, he summons his magic, raising the dead to swarm the knight. But the knight utters one word, "Stop." A purple aura pulses from him, seizing the undead. It courses through them, and they shatter into pieces. Dorgo's voice trembles. "You're a creature equal to the gods." He switches tactics, his tone almost pleading. "I get your anger. I'd be furious too. But you haven't won. Destroy this body, and I'll just transfer my soul to another. I'll control you again." The knight's eyes burn with quiet rage. "All I've ever wanted is to kill you. Every day, trapped in this body, that's what kept me going." Dorgo scoffs. "No sword technique can sever a soul." The knight's aura surges, his blade glowing with a power that feels ancient, unstoppable. He steps forward, ready to prove Dorgo wrong. A battlefield, thick with dust and tension. Dorgo, this massive beast of a man, locks eyes with a shadowy knight. A beam of bright blue light cuts through the air, screaming toward Dorgo. His heart races, dodge or stand firm. No time to decide. The knight's on him, landing a blow that sends him flying. Dorgo hits the ground hard but scrambles up, dusting himself off. "There's no technique that can kill me," he says, relief in his voice. Then wham! Something slams into him. Dorgo screams, pain tearing through him. The sky rips open, and a strange force grabs him, blasting an energy beam that shatters him to pieces. All that's left is his grotesque skull, rolling in the dirt. The knight steps forward, calm and cold, and crushes it underfoot. "Go to hell," he says. The emperor, watching nearby, is losing it, muttering, questioning his own sanity. The knight, though, drops to his knees, exhausted. "It's finally over," he sighs, but there's more on his mind. "I have one more thing to do," he says quietly. He's thinking of his family, of apologies he owes. He's ready to face death for it. In a desperate move, he falls onto his giant sword, the blade piercing him clean through. Darkness swallows him. Then a voice. "Damian." Soft, familiar. His eyes open. A woman stands over him, puzzled. "Why are you sleeping in such an odd place?" Damian, the knight, stares up, heart swelling. He's glad to see her face before he dies. But she looks younger, too young. She smiles, teasing, "Stop flattering me, Damian. You're just trying to get on my good side before father scolds you again." "Father? Sister?" "This is Louise, his big sister." "Hurry inside," she says. "It might start raining." Damian's mind spins. The mansion before him, he destroyed it in his past life. "I'm dreaming," he mutters. To test it, he grabs a stick, strikes a knight's pose, and swings at a rock. It shatters. He laughs, wild and unhinged. This isn't a dream. By some miracle, he's back in the past. Tears stream down his face as he drops to his knees, clutching his shirt. In his old life, he was a disaster. His father, Paul Osborne Haxen, never had a good day because of him. He caused a bar fight, got kicked out, and dragged the family name through the mud. He struck a noble from the Leon Bloom March family, and because of that, Louise was forced to marry the man he wronged. He borrowed money, using the family land as collateral, breaking his mother Milda's heart. When his father had enough, Damian was cast out. As he left, Louise gave him a pouch of money. "Be happy," she said, despite everything he'd done to ruin her life. That moment taught him guilt and shame. Now, back in the past, Damian's head spins. He never expected this chance to fix it all. He looks skyward, calling it a divine miracle. That technique he used on the rock? He learned it later, after killing the castle wall destroyer. It amplifies a blow's impact tenfold. He shouldn't know it yet. "Damon!" A servant, Victor, panting from running, interrupts. "Why are you still outside? Louise told you to come in. Your father's furious." Damian digs through his memories for the name. "What'd I do this time?" he asks. Victor's stunned. "You caused the trouble." "You tell me." Damian steps inside, bracing for his father's wrath. Paul looms, sword raised, fury pouring off him. The blade swings, Damian dodges. Milda and Louise rush to hold Paul back before he does something crazy. "You caused trouble at a bar again," Paul roars. "Always inventing new ways to destroy our name." He threatens to crush Damian, but Milda and Louise plead for him to reconsider. Damian stands there, taking it all in. It's been so long since he heard his father's voice. The weight of his family, his mistakes, this second chance, it hits him like a tidal wave. Picture this, a tense family scene, heavy with disappointment. Damon's father, Paul, lays into him, his words sharp enough to cut. Damon, usually so quick with excuses, stands there, tears streaming down his face. The room freezes, everyone's stunned to see him break like this. Paul, suspicious, narrows his eyes and demands, "What blatant excuses do you have this time around?" But Damon surprises them all. His voice steady, he says, "I have no excuses." Paul nods, almost smug, agreeing there's no way Damon could dodge this one. Yet, something feels off. Damon's the troublemaker, the son who always has a slick comeback for his messes. Not today. Damon's voice cracks as he admits, "I'm aware of this. I've trashed our family's name, the Hax and Viscounty." He takes a deep breath, owning it all. "I take full responsibility for everything that's happened so far." Paul's about to unleash another tirade when Damon does the unthinkable. He bows his head. "I'm going to make up for the errors I've made," he vows. Paul's jaw drops as Damon steps toward the door, turning back to say, "I'll be back to receive my punishment after I fix my mistake." The room's left in stunned silence. Paul mutters, half joking, "He must have hit his head," as he and the others watch Damon leave, their minds reeling. Cut to the bustling merchant city of Landwork. Damon's on a mission, his loyal friend Victor trailing nervously behind. They stop outside a shady bar, its reputation tied to whispers of a dangerous syndicate. Victor's voice shakes as he warns, "I've heard rumors about this place. It's backed by some serious trouble." Damon glances at him, calm but firm. "You're free to go back if you're scared." Victor scoffs, "I can't go back alone, we came together." Damon reassures him, "I'm not here to cause trouble. I just want to apologize to the owner, and then we leave." Victor nods, praying this doesn't go south. Damon's thoughts drift as he walks toward the bar. He knows coming back to the past is a mystery, a second chance he won't squander. This time, he's determined to do right by his family. At the bar's entrance, two rough-looking guards block his path, their eyes narrowing. "What's your business here?" they demand. Damon, struggling to recall the details of his last visit, knows their faces but not why. Cutting to the chase, he says, "I'm here to apologize to the owner for what happened last time I was here." The guards blink, thrown off. An apology? From Damon? They snicker, calling him a funny dude, but their mockery turns ugly. "You're the crap of your family," one sneers. Then, crossing a line, the other grins, "Your sister, though she's beautiful. The only good thing in your family." Before Damon can respond, a fist cracks across his face. The guard smirks, "We'll accept your apology, but on one condition. Introduce us to your lovely sister so we can get down with her." They laugh, thinking it's a game. One pulls a knife, holding it to Damon's face. That's when Damon snaps. In a flash, he snatches the knife, his patience gone. "I thought I could just apologize and leave," he mutters, voice low with disappointment. The guard in a do-rag barks, "Give me back my knife." Damon spins it in his hand, rage taking over. In one swift move, he slices through the air, severing the guard's hand. The man screams, his hand flying as blood sprays. The other guard freezes, unable to process the chaos. Damon's aura shifts, dark, lethal intent radiating from him. He steps forward, his voice cold as steel. "Let me show you what a piece of crap from the Hax and Viscounty can do." Behind a corner, Victor watches, tears streaming down his face. This wasn't the plan. Spectators gather, drawn to the commotion. The remaining guard, still cocky, raises his fist, flashing a snake tattoo. "Do you know who we are?" he boasts. "I'm with the Black Snake Gang. No one messes with us." Damon's eyes narrow, unfazed. "I don't care who you are or who you work for. Come at me." The guard hesitates, but Damon's memory clicks. The Black Snake, a growing power in the city, providing security for this bar. He remembers now, all he did was complain about the food, and these goons beat him senseless in front of everyone. He'd begged them to stop, offering to pay. Not this time. Damon's grip tightens on the knife, his resolve hardening. This isn't just about an apology anymore, it's about rewriting his story. Picture this. A dimly lit street, shadows clinging to every corner. Damon's boots echo on the cobblestones as he heads toward a bar that's more trouble than it's worth. He's got a score to settle, but his lips curl into a sly smile. He's not here to grovel, he's the one owed an apology. The guards at the door catch that grin, muttering, "What's so funny?" as they eye him like he's lost it. A thug steps up, all bravado. "I'm not going easy on you just because you're a noble," he sneers, charging with the force of a runaway cart. Damon sidesteps smoothly, almost lazily. The thug stumbles, face-planting into the dirt with a thud. Damon looms over him, voice low. "I could kill you all right here, but my family's name holds me back." Before the guy can blink, Damon's behind him, knife flashing, slicing into his leg. The scream is raw, joined by the howls of two guards writhing on the ground. 4 more gang members slink out of the shadows. Their leader sizes Damon up. "You from another organization?" Damon's eyes glint. "I came to offer an apology, until I realized I'm the one who deserves one." He points toward the bar. "Take me to your boss. I've got a complaint." The thugs aren't in the mood for talk. "We'll show you who you're messing with," one barks. The leader snaps, "Get him." 3 rush Damon, blades ready. He's calm, eerily so. A deep breath, then he's a blur. Limbs hit the ground, blood sprays. An arm here, a leg there. The screams are deafening. The leader's frozen, watching his men fall apart. Damon, catching his breath, mutters, "3 down, and I'm already winded." Disappointing. He locks eyes with the leader. "You want to keep this going?" The guy's hands shoot up, trembling. "No part of this," he stammers, bolting. Damon's faster, snatching him mid-stride. Inside the bar, laughter and clinking glasses stop dead as Damon strides in, knife to the thug's throat. One swift move, and the guy's out cold. Damon stands in the doorway, knife gleaming like a promise. The crowd scatters, tripping over tables. The bar's empty now, save for Anderson, the owner, on the balcony. "What's all this chaos?" he demands, spotting Damon. "Where are my guards?" Damon's voice cuts through. "Taken care of." Anderson's jaw drops. "You took out Black Snake members?" he roars. "Who are you to come into my place and cause trouble?" Damon's calm. "I'm Damon, from the Haxen Viscounty. I'm not here for trouble. I'm here for an apology." Anderson blinks, so Damon lays it out. "Your bar's overpriced. I complained, and your men beat me up, threw me out. Made me look like some drunk troublemaker. My family lost a lot because of it." Anderson's confused. "Lost what? Your family's honor?" He laughs, cruel. "The Haxen Viscounty? You're trash. No honor to lose." Damon's silent, the air heavy with his restraint. Anderson keeps spitting venom. "I'm not apologizing. Pay for the mess you made." Damon's smile returns, cold. "I was ready to forgive you, but since you're being rude, I'll punish you instead." He leaps, knife aimed at Anderson's chest. A strange aura floods the room, oppressive. Damon senses it just in time, twisting to block an attack that sends him skidding back. A hooded figure stands on the balcony, radiating power. Ted, an apprentice knight, his aura burning like a furnace. Damon's eyes narrow. "Someone as skilled as you, working for this dump?" Ted says nothing, his presence a warning. Anderson smirks. "Ted's with the Black Snake boss." "You're done for, Damon." Ted's eyes widen. "How was Damon able to sense it when I didn't even materialize it?" he mutters, stunned. Damon, leaning back with a knowing smirk, keeps going. He's got Ted pegged. "I understand why you're working in a dump like this," Damon says, his voice sharp. "You were kicked out as an apprentice knight because you didn't have the talent to become an official one." That stings. Ted's face flushes with anger, but before he can snap back, Anderson, the guy running this shady operation, turns to him. "How much will it cost to take care of Damian?" he asks, all business. Ted's had enough. "We're gonna talk about prices later," he growls, "because I'm already pissed." In a flash, he lunges at Damon, sword drawn, ready to shut him up. But Damon? He's not fazed. He steps back, smooth as silk, and Ted's sword slams into the ground, splintering the stone beneath. Ted's not done. He's swinging wildly now, each strike fueled by rage, aiming to cut Damon down. Damon dodges every blow with ease, his movements almost lazy. "You're quite skilled," Damon says, almost impressed, "even though you're just an apprentice knight." He's reading Ted like an open book, noting how his attacks are wide but razor sharp. Ted's burning up, swinging harder, forcing Damon to leap back. Damon's starting to feel the strain, though. His new body's not used to this yet, and he's already thinking ahead, muttering to himself about building stamina. Meanwhile, Ted's gearing up for something big, his secret technique. He charges, sword gleaming with deadly intent. But Damon's eyes narrow, then close. He's seen this before. Flashback to another life, another fight. Damon, as the Death Knight, faced a legend, the Phantom Assassin, a terrifying figure who warned, "Get out of my way or face my wrath." The Death Knight didn't budge. The assassin unleashed his secret technique, the Blade of Death, a move that let him see the human body like an X-ray. He charged, slicing the Death Knight clean in half. Smirking, the assassin boasted, "This is how deadly my technique island." But then he froze. The Death Knight's body knit itself back together, undead, unstoppable. In a twist, the Death Knight turned the assassin's own technique against him, cutting him down. The assassin died in shock, whispering, "How was he able to use my technique?" Back in the present, Damon's ready. Ted's charging with the same technique, but Damon's calm, focused. They clash, and in a heartbeat, Ted's on the ground, a massive gash across his chest. Damon stands over him, remembering how his enemies always die in disbelief. See, when Damon became the Death Knight, he gained a gift, the ability to absorb his enemies' powers and make them his own. Anderson's watching, horrified, as Ted collapses. He scrambles, switching gears fast. "Guards!" he shouts, gathering them to grovel. He drops to his knees before Damon, pleading, "Forgive me!" To sweeten the deal, he offers a pile of cash. Damon, who only wanted an apology, can't resist. "The money's not enough," he says, playing along, "but I'll forgive you this time." Anderson's sweating, praying Damon doesn't change his mind. Damon calls for Victor, who creeps into the room, eyes wide as he packs the money. He's wondering, when did Damon learn swordsmanship? He can barely believe Damon took down the guards, but he saw it with his own eyes. Once the cash is packed, Damon and Victor head out. Anderson stays bowed, muttering, "Safe trip back to your house." Victor's still reeling, telling Damon, "This is the first time I'll see such a huge amount of money." Anderson overhears and nearly chokes with rage. He's fuming, swearing to report this to the boss of Black Snake to get his money back. But Damon's not done. He turns back, his voice cold. "You still have a punishment to serve." Before anyone can blink, Damon's used the secret technique again. Anderson's ear is gone, and he's writhing on the ground, clutching the wound. The guards freeze, shocked. Damon leaves them with a warning, "Tell Black Snake not to come near my family, or there'll be serious consequences." Anderson's rolling in pain, vowing revenge. Damon and Victor leave town. Damon knows this won't erase his past mistakes, but he's determined to protect his family in this new life. Meanwhile, at the Leon Bloom March estate, the young master's plotting something dark. With a disgusting smirk, he tells his sister, "I'm leaving to find love." It's a tense morning, the kind where the air feels heavy with secrets and consequences. Victor's pacing, his brow furrowed, barely catching a wink of sleep. He's been up all night, haunted by the chaos of yesterday. Damon, though? He's calm, almost too calm, like he's already made peace with the storm they've stirred. "Damon," Victor starts, his voice low, "I know things went off the rails from our original plan, but you're acting like it's no big deal." Damon just grins, that sharp, reckless grin of his. "We got a reward out of it, didn't we? And trust me, Victor, rumors are gonna fly. Someone messed with Paul's eldest son at a bar and got annihilated for it. Once that spreads, people will think twice before crossing our family." He leans in, his eyes glinting. "Might even change how they see you as a loser." Victor blinks, caught off guard. Damon, self-aware? That's new. The guy's always been a loose cannon, but this is different. Victor's almost relieved, but there's a shadow creeping into his thoughts. "You didn't just beat up some Black Snake goons, Damon. You trashed one of their apprentice knights. That's not small." Damon waves it off, cool as ever. "No matter how bold those Black Snake bastards are, they won't dare touch us. And if they do, I'll stop them. You've got nothing to worry about." Victor nods, but it's not just Damon's words that steady him. He saw it Damon's swordsmanship, sharp and deadly, cutting through those thugs like they were nothing. "Where'd you even learn to fight like that?" Victor asks, squinting. Damon smirks, shrugging. "Oh, just trained from time to time." It's a flimsy lie, and they both know it. But before Victor can press, "Damon!" Paul's voice roars down the hallway, heavy with rage. The man storms in, his sword, his so-called love stick, swinging at his waist, the one he uses to knock sense into his son. But instead of a beating, Paul grabs Damon, worry etched deep in his face. "Where the hell have you been since yesterday? Out causing trouble again?" Damon doesn't flinch. "I promised I'd fix the mess I made, didn't I?" "Victor, show him." Victor steps forward, hands steady as he reveals the haul, a pile of money and a land deed. Paul's jaw drops. Damon's mother sways, nearly collapsing until Paul catches her. Damon keeps his cool, spinning his tail. "I went back to that bar they kicked me out of. Cleared up the misunderstanding. The owner was so sorry, he handed over the money and the deed as an apology." Paul's eyes narrow, skeptical. "That's what happened?" Damon's mother jumps in, her voice soft but firm. "There's no way Damian could have gotten all this if it wasn't true." Damon glances at Victor, winking. "Tell him, Victor." "Back me up." Victor freezes, scratching his head. Yeah, Damon's telling the truth," he stammers, barely selling it. Damon shoots him a look, all confidence. "See, father? Believe me now?" Paul's still not sold, but his mother's beaming. "I'm proud of you, Damian," she says, her voice warm. Victor just stands there, stunned at how smoothly Damon's weaving this web of lies. Later, Damon's alone, sweat dripping as he trains. His body's weak, slow, too slow for what's coming. He knows he needs stamina, and fast. That's when he pulls out a small bottle, a rare tonic from the Alchemy Academy, so valuable it's traded like gemstones. He got it from Anderson, a stroke of luck. He pops the cap and downs it in one go. The effect hits like lightning, his body hums with energy, alive in a way it hasn't been in years. Damon's not just training for himself, he's got a bigger fight ahead. Years from now, Dorgo and his undead army will come, a shadow that could swallow everything he loves. Damon's got one goal: get strong enough to kill Dorgo before that day arrives. He pushes harder, driven by the need to protect his family's fragile happiness. Meanwhile, in a shadowy tower that feels like it's carved from nightmares, the Black Snake's hideout looms. Their leader, Cedric, a bloated, ruthless man, lounges like a king of trash. His men drag in Ted, beaten and broken, asking what to do with him. Cedric barely glances up. "Ditch him," he says, cold as stone, even though they could have saved him. To Cedric, it's just a shame Ted's out of the game. A dimly lit room, heavy with the stench of betrayal. Cedric, cool and ruthless, looms over his men. One of them hesitates, questioning the plan. "Dump Ted somewhere," Cedric orders, his voice slicing through. "He's no use to us anymore. He's sure he can buy anyone with enough coin." As he turns to leave, Ted staggers to his feet, defiance in his eyes. Cedric's shocked this guy's got more fight than he thought. "Get yourself treated," Cedric says, pivoting. I might hire you again. But Ted's had enough. He snatches his sword and charges, aiming to end Cedric. Suddenly, dark energy lashes out, pinning Ted in place. He's stunned as a mage steps forward, voice cold. Is this the first target for our contract? Cedric nods, intrigued. Release me! Ted roars, but the mage mutters a spell. The dark energy twists into a swarm of bats, vicious and unrelenting. They tear into Ted, his screams filling the air as they rip him apart, leaving only a boot and a foul smell. Cedric's men stagger back, gagging. The mage, unfazed, asks, Satisfied? Cedric nods. Yes, but do a cleaner job next time. The mage agrees and asks about the contract. Cedric's voice lowers. Someone messed with my gang. A noble. Hard to touch. Make Damian suffer. The worse it is, the more you're paid. He tosses a pouch of coins. The mage's eyes gleam. I'll take care of it. Days later, Damian's out in the open, stronger than ever, thanks to a tonic. But something's wrong, the Black Snake gang's been too quiet. A rustle in the bushes sets him off. Thinking it's them, he drops his bottle, dives in, and grabs the intruder by the throat. It's Abel, his brother. Damian releases him, shaken. You've gotten stronger, Abel gasps. I thought you were gonna snap my neck. Damian's mind flashes to a grim memory, Abel's death in a past life. He pushes it down, offering his hand. Sorry for grabbing you. Abel bats it away. I'm not here for apologies. I heard about the bar fight. People got hurt. I don't believe you did it. You can't fight. Damian insists. It was me. Abel's not having it. Did you hire someone? Damian holds his ground. It was me. Abel's voice rises. You can fool everyone else, but not me. Don't ruin this family. You always make messes, and we clean them up. Damian pats Abel's head gently. I know you're the noble son, keeping us together. Abel shoves at his hand, failing. Get your hand off me. Damian starts to reassure him when Victor runs up, panicked. Something's going down. Inside, there's Erwin Lion Bloom, the scum noble, sitting with their parents, his smile vile. I'm just telling them about your stunt at the banquet hall, he says smugly. My father found out, so I had no choice. Damian's gut twists, he forgot about this guy. His mind flashes back, Erwin insulting his family, dishonoring his sister. Damian tried to let it slide, but Erwin kept pushing, whispering, calling him daring him to snap. That smile, that moment, it's all rushing back, and trouble's here. All right, picture this. A tense room in a modest noble house, the air thick with dread. Damian's standing there, fists clenched, replaying the moment he fell for Erwin's bait. He knows he shouldn't have swung at the guy, but that smug face just begged for it. Now, Erwin's lounging in their home like he owns it, demanding retribution. And what's his price? Damian's sister, Louise. Erwin leans forward, his voice oily. I have always admired your sister, Louise. Paul, Damian's father, freezes. The room goes dead silent, everyone's breath caught in their throats. Erwin presses on, cool as ever. Allow the union between me and Louise. Damian's not shocked, though. He's seen this play before in his past life. Erwin's pulling the same dirty trick, banking on their family's lack of wealth compared to the high and mighty nobles. Erwin's grin widens. A marriage between me and Louise will make everything go away. Paul's voice shakes, but holds firm. I can't give you my daughter. Louise already has a fiancé. Erwin's face twists, his calm cracking. What do you plan to do about the insult I received? Can your family deal with my family's wrath? He leans closer, voice low and venomous. Choose one. Pay the price for insulting me, or I marry Louise. Hasty. The weight of that name, Lion Bloom, one of the kingdom's most powerful noble houses, hangs heavy. Paul's scared, you can see it in his eyes, but he's not budging. I'd rather face your family than let you take her. Then, the door swings open. Louise steps in, her voice steady but sharp. I agree to follow him. The room erupts. Her family's shouting, begging her not to do this, swearing they'll find another way. Don't make such a rash decision, they cry. Damon, though, he's quiet. His mind's racing, stuck on the past, watching his sister walk into Erwin's trap again. Louise just smiles, calm as anything. I have no problem following Erwin. Erwin's grin is pure triumph. You're a truly wise person, he says, standing, all smug confidence. I'll send a formal request soon enough. He moves toward Louise, but Damon steps in his path, rage burning in his chest like a furnace. Erwin smirks, unfazed. Anything you want to add to our agreement? Should I start calling you brother-in-law? Damon's blood boils. This is the same piece of trash who ruined Louise's life before. He mutters an insult under his breath, sharp enough to make Louise and Erwin flinch. Erwin's eyes narrow. What did you just say? Before Erwin can finish, Damon's fist flies an uppercut that sends him soaring. Erwin crashes to the floor, sprawled in a pathetic heap. Damon knows he's playing right into Erwin's hands again, but he can't stop. Not this time. The room freezes, but Damon's mind flashes back. He remembers the day Erwin and Louise visited after their marriage in his past life. He'd rushed to the door, eager to see his sister after so long. But what he saw stopped him cold. Erwin dragging Louise by her hair, her face bruised and swollen from daily beatings. Erwin's voice had been ice. She's such a whiner. She even dared to talk about divorce. Right there, in their parents' house, he'd raised his fist again, pummeling her while Damon hid, helpless, behind the door. That guilt it's carved into his soul. He won't let it happen again. Back in the present, Erwin's guards burst in, seeing their master on the ground. Did you do this? They snarl, weapons drawn. Erwin staggers to his feet, yanking out his sword, his face a mask of fury. You must really crave the taste of death, he spits, pointing the blade at Damon. The guards try to calm him. Let us handle this, sir. There are people watching. But Erwin's done listening. He punches one of his own men, a red-headed guard, so hard he slams into the wall. Erwin's lost it, stalking toward Damon. How do you plan to resolve this? Louise, trembling, begs Erwin to stop, but Damon cuts her off, his voice steady. You don't have to worry, Louise. I'll handle this. He's not letting her sacrifice herself again. Then, Damon throws out a challenge. Let's duel. If you win, I'll follow your instructions. If I win, you forget everything. Erwin scoffs. Those conditions don't benefit me. Louise already agreed to come with me. Damon smirks, playing the noble's game. What, scared you'll lose? Is that why you're twisting things? That hits a nerve. Erwin's eyes blaze, his pride stung. He can't believe Damon's calling him out after landing a cheap shot. Fine, he says, his smile dark and vicious. I accept the duel. He's already plotting to destroy Damon and take Louise. They move to the estate's training ground, the air thick with tension. Damon's mother's beside herself, clutching her husband's arm. Stop him, she pleads. Paul's scared too, but he trusts Damon's got a plan, or at least, he hopes so. If not, they're praying for a miracle. Abel, Damon's brother, isn't so optimistic. Erwin's an official knight, he mutters. Damon doesn't stand a chance. The duel's about to start, and Erwin notices Damon's empty hands. Where's your sword? How do you plan to beat me without one? Damon's grin is pure defiance. He pulls out a fork, holding it up like it's a blade. This is all I need to take you down. The crowd gasps. His family nearly faints. Erwin bursts into laughter, mocking him, but Erwin smirks, his voice dripping with scorn. You must have lost your mind due to fear, he taunts, gripping his blade tighter. I'm not going to go easy on you, even though you don't have a sword. Suddenly, Erwin charges, his sword slicing through the air. Damon sidesteps at the last second, leaving Erwin stunned, his blade cutting nothing but air. The crowd gasps, But Erwin's not here to play. He growls, summoning his signature move, the fierce roaring lion sword. The ground shakes as he unleashes a torrent of slashes, each one faster and deadlier than the last. Dust swirls, obscuring everything. The guards hold their breath, expecting Damon to be done for. But when the dust settles, there he is, Damon, untouched, standing tall. Erwin's men whisper in disbelief. "How's he still alive?" they mutter. Even Erwin's rattled. He knows he poured everything into that attack, a deadly combo of precision and power. Yet Damon dodged every single strike. Damon catches Erwin's shock and flashes a faint, satisfied smile. He's been training hard these past few days, studying the Leon Bloom family's swordsmanship like his life depends on it. And it does. He thinks back to Michael Lion Bloom, Erwin's brother, who Damon fought before his regression. Erwin's strong, sure, but compared to Michael, he's a shadow. Erwin's had enough. He's done underestimating this guy. A dark, swirling aura erupts from him, so intense it makes the air feel heavy. Even Damon feels the weight of what's coming. Erwin's tapping into his ultimate technique, certain that luck won't save Damon this time. He lunges, the aura trailing behind him like a storm. But Damon's mind races, calculating. He picks his counter, the Sword Saint technique. And here's the kicker, he's holding a fork. The crowd's eyes widen as Damon, with impossible precision, blocks Erwin's monstrous attack. A blinding flash lights up the scene. When it fades, Erwin's sword is caught, pinned down by that ridiculous fork. Damon doesn't stop there. He shifts, his movements a blur, and activates the countless Thunder Shadow revelation. In one fluid motion, he disarms Erwin, sending his sword clattering away. Erwin's defenseless, and Damon charges, fork in hand, his eyes burning with killing intent. The crowd's on edge as Damon closes in, the fork inches from Erwin's neck. At the last moment, Damon pulls back, pressing the fork just enough to draw a yelp of pain. Erwin collapses, screaming like a child. Damon looms over him, ready to end it. Erwin deserves it, no question. But Damon hesitates, thinking of his family. The duel's over. He's won. "Get lost," he snarls, and Erwin, pale and trembling, nearly wets himself as he scrambles away, his life flashing before his eyes. The next morning, the mood's different. Damon sits at the family breakfast table, quiet, eating just enough before standing to leave. "Thanks for the meal," he says, voice steady. "I'm out for more training." The room goes silent as he walks out. Once he's gone, Milda leans toward her husband, Abel, her voice low. "You're not going to ask him about last night?" Abel's reeling, barely able to process it. "My trash older brother, who was always weak, suddenly got stronger," he mutters, "and he took down a guy like Erwin like it was nothing." He's forced to admit it, Damon's not the same guy anymore. Milda notices Abel's stunned expression and nudges him. Maybe we should ask how he got so strong. But Paul, their father, cuts in, his voice calm but firm. "Chill out," he says. "Let Damon be. He'll tell us when he's ready." Milda sees Paul's not pushing it, so she tells Abel to pull himself together. But Paul's curious too, more than anyone. Something about Damon feels off. Scary, even. And he's his son. Later, Damon's prepping for training, strapping 10-kilogram sandbags to his legs for endurance. Just as he's about to head out, he hears Louise call his name. She's holding a sword, relief in her eyes that he hasn't left yet. "About yesterday," she starts, but Damon cuts her off, bowing his head. "I'm sorry," he says earnestly. "I acted recklessly and put you in a tough spot. It won't happen again." Louise blinks, then laughs softly, patting his shoulder. "You're misunderstanding," she says. "I'm thankful you stood up for me." Damon's stunned. Louise admits she was scared, torn about following Erwin, despite her heart screaming no. "I'm so glad you stepped in," she says, smiling. Damon exhales, relieved. "I should be thanking you for everything you've done for me," he tells her. Then Louise holds up the sword, their father's favorite. Dad wanted you to have this for training, she says. He's not great at showing it, but he loves you a lot. She pauses, then adds with a smirk, oh, and he says you're from a viscounty, so use a sword in a duel, not a fork. Don't do that again. Damon chuckles, seeing his father's stern face in Louise's expression. He takes the sword, smiling. Thanks, Dad. That night, danger creeps in. The guards are at their posts when a dark energy hits them, knocking them out cold. A dark mage slips into the house, his influence spreading like a poison, sending the family into a deep sleep. Milda, lost in a dream, even punches Paul in the face. The mage slinks into Louise's room, his tongue flicking out as he leers at her. Here to honor the Black Snake's contract, he mutters, but damn, I'm lucky to find this. Then, a voice cuts through the dark like a blade. What the F are you doing in my sister's room? The mage spins around to see Damon, radiating so much killing intent, it's suffocating. Damon explains he sensed a strange energy and came to check. The mage's mind races, his spell should have knocked everyone out. How's Damon awake? Worse, how did he not sense Damon until now? Panicking, the mage fires a magic blast. It hits where Damon stood, but Damon's already gone, dodging effortlessly. The mage's jaw drops. Just who the hell are you? He demands. But Damian flips it back, cool as ice. I'm the one who lives here. Who are you? The mage, realizing he's been made, stammers, Are you Damian? And Damian, with a steady gaze, confirms, yes. They lock eyes, sizing each other up. Damian cuts through the silence. Who are you, and what are you trying to do to my sister? Before the mage can answer, heavy boots echo down the hall, guards, alerted by the mage's earlier magic blast. He panics, knowing he's in deep if they catch him. In a flash, he transforms into mist, slipping out the window like a ghost. Damian bolts to the sill, but the mage is gone, leaving only a faint, strange energy lingering. Damian narrows his eyes, muttering to himself, what is that power? The next morning, chaos erupts at the stables. Servants huddle around the lifeless body of the Viscount's prized horse, their voices trembling. It was fine yesterday, one cries. The Viscount's gonna kill us, another wails. Suddenly, Damian's voice cuts through from behind. I had a bad feeling. 5. The servants nearly jump out of their skin, spinning to see him standing there, calm but intense. They stutter, scrambling for excuses, but Damian raises a hand. Relax. I'm just here to check something. You won't be blamed for this. He glances at the horse, then at them. Leave. Now. They scatter, relieved, but spooked. Alone, Damian kneels by the horse, his fingers tracing an invisible trail. That strange energy from last night, it's here, and it's dark. Dark mana. His jaw tightens. The mage he faced is no ordinary intruder, he's a dark mage. Damian decides to keep this quiet for now, his family doesn't need the panic. Locking onto the manor's trail, he follows it, his steps deliberate, leading him deep into a forest cave. Inside, the dark mage is gloating over a pile of supplies, laughing to himself. Cedric's such an idiot, gathering all this for me. He'd lied to Cedric, claiming the materials were for a curse, but it's all for his twisted experiments. He sneers, me, a fallen angel, stuck taking these low-tier jobs for pocket change. All because the church is breathing down my neck. He shakes his head, muttering, gotta lie low for now. Then, a voice slices through the dark. That smell you're giving off? Disgusting. The mage freezes. It's Damian, leaning casually against the cave wall. He smirks. You should really put a window in here. The mage's eyes widen. You again? 5. The Viscount's son? How'd you find this place? Damian's grin sharpens. I followed your stench. The mage's shock deepens. He'd heard rumors about Damian taking on the Black Snake. But this? This is no reckless kid. Damian's voice drops. You're with the Black Snake, aren't you? The mage, cornered, admits, "They hired me to ruin your family." Damian's smile turns predatory. "You shouldn't have taken that job. It's about to get you killed." The mage's temper flares. "You think you can take me? I'll capture you, make you my test subject." He raises his hand, dark magic crackling. But Damian's unfazed. "You won't get the chance. I swore I'd only kill when I have to, but dark mages? They're the exception." The mage's eyes narrow, realizing Damian's onto him. "You know what I am," he snarls, unleashing a barrage of magical attacks. Damian moves like a shadow, dodging every blast, closing the distance before the mage can blink. He's right there, sword raised, ready to strike. The mage, desperate, feels the blade slice through him clean in half. But then, impossibly, his body starts knitting itself back together. Damian steps back, eyes sharp. Same trick as at the estate. The mage, whole again, grins. "Your attacks can't kill me." Damian's anger flares, his voice low. "Then I'll cut you down until there's nothing left to regenerate." He lunges, shattering the mage's body again. The mage, reforming, laughs. "You're a problem, but you're already dead. The moment you stepped into this cave, you were mine." Suddenly, dark bats swarm from the shadows, a trap the mage set for anyone hunting him. They wrap around Damian, pinning him in place. The mage gloats. "You're done, Viscount's son. These bats will make you rot and die." The bats converge, consuming Damian as the mage's laughter echoes through the cave. A shadowy battlefield, thick with the stench of dark magic. Damian's on the verge of collapse, his body under siege by a swarm of dark bats conjured by a sinister mage. The mage cackles, his voice dripping with malice. Damon caused his own death, he sneers, reveling in the chaos. He's already counting the coin he'll earn from this kill, recalling Cedric's promise, the higher the damage, the higher the pay. Damian's death will be a shiny notch on his belt, and he's already scheming to hunt down Louise next. But then, a voice cuts through the darkness. "Did you use a decomposing type curse on me?" It's Damian, calm and unshaken. The mage whips around, eyes wide with shock. The curse that should have rotted Damian to bones has vanished, disintegrated like it never existed. "How much do you know about dark magic?" the mage screams, his confidence cracking. Damian, though, is just as surprised. He doesn't know why he's still standing, but then he notices it a glowing magic circle on the back of his hand. A spark of realization hits him. This is no ordinary power. This is authority. Let's rewind. Before Damian's regression, there was Dorgo, a twisted genius obsessed with crafting the ultimate warrior. He forged a spell called Authority, a power so obscene it could rival a god's. Dorgo wasn't satisfied with giving his Death Knight the strongest body or the fiercest magic. No, he wanted his creation to be unmatched, the pinnacle of existence. So he imbued Damian with authority. A blinding light surges from the heavens, pouring into Damian's body. He screams, pain ripping through him as the power takes hold. When the light fades, he's no longer just a man, he's a vessel for the authority of greed. Back in the present, Damian stares at the glowing mark on his hand. He thought this power was lost when he regressed, but it's still there, pulsing inside him. The mage, desperate to regain control, hurls another blast of dark magic. "How did you survive my curse?" he demands. Damian dodges with ease, a smirk tugging at his lips. "We all have a trump card we're hiding," he says coolly. "Mine's just plot armor." The mage's face twists. He's a Yulan officer, part of a ruthless organization that thrives on dark magic and assassination. Damian's heard of them, whispers of their cruelty are hard to miss. That explains the mage's skill, but not his arrogance. "I don't believe your trash about a trump card," the mage snaps, sensing something off. His instincts scream to end this fast. He glances at a bracelet on his wrist, glowing faintly. He'd been saving this for the church, but now? Now it's time to play his ace. The bracelet hums, and a blinding green light floods the room. Damian's eyes narrow. That's no ordinary trinket, it's an artifact, hiding a massive well of dark mana. The mage grins wickedly. There's no way you can handle the power I'm about to unleash, he taunts, firing a massive beam of fire and magic straight at Damian. Burn and die. The hellfire roars, eternal and unyielding, consuming everything in its path. The mage laughs, certain it's over. But then, a voice echoes from the flames. You've totally misunderstood the situation. The mage freezes. Damian steps forward, unscathed, a terrifying green aura radiating from him. The mark of authority on his hand glows furiously. The authority of greed doesn't dispel magic, Damian says, his voice low and menacing. It absorbs all dark mana. Every last drop. His eyes blaze, piercing the mage's soul. The mage stumbles back, horror dawning. He knows what authority means. Why does someone like you have such a terrifying power? He whispers. Damian's gaze is ice cold. Don't worry about it, he says. Think of it as me having better gear. He shifts into a striking pose, blade gleaming with intent. He hates using this power, a gift from Dorgo, the one he despises most. But if it means ending this mage, he'll do it. He channels his Death Knight instincts, infusing his blade with aura. The mage's jaw drops. Aura blade? He gasps. That's a technique only swordmasters can wield. How does Damian have it? No time to wonder. Damian unleashes a soul-severing slash. The aura tears through the air, unstoppable. The mage has no chance to escape. The attack cleaves him in half, shattering his soul's essence. The dark mage collapses, his strength fading into nothing, as the battlefield falls silent. All right, picture this. A gritty, shadow-soaked city where danger lurks in every alley. Our guy Damian is on a warpath, dragging his loyal but skeptical sidekick Victor along for the ride. The air's thick with tension as they roll up to Landwork, a place that reeks of trouble. Damian's just grilled some poor soul about the Black Snake's hideout, and now he's hauling Victor back to this cursed city, for reasons he's keeping tight-lipped about. Victor, trailing behind, can't help but prod. Why are we back at Landwork, boss? He asks, half curious, half worried. Damian shoots him a look that could freeze blood. Follow me quietly if you plan on sticking around, he says, his voice low and sharp. Victor, never one to stay serious, smirks. You look refreshed, man, but that book you're reading? Totally ominous. He's not wrong. The book in Damian's hands looks like something straight out of a nightmare, its cover almost pulsing with a human-like face. Victor's eyebrows shoot up. What is that thing? Damian's lips curl into a grim smile. It's a magic grimoire. Got it after I killed that annoying dark mage. Victor laughs, thinking it's another one of Damian's dark jokes. Yeah, right. I may be illiterate, but I know dark magic grimoires are rare as hell. No way you just got one. But then, a foul stench hits his nose, and his grin fades. Something's off. They pull up to Landwork, and Damian's all business. I've got a job for you, he tells Victor, holding a bag that's giving off that same nasty smell. Victor, curious as ever, asks, What's in the bag, boss? Damian doesn't blink. A person's head. Victor snorts, thinking it's another prank. You're messing with me, right? But curiosity gets the better of him, and he yanks the bag open. His face goes white. Inside is the dark mage's severed head, staring back at him. Before Victor can hurl the bag in a panic, Damian snatches it back. Shh, he hisses. We're in public. I'll explain later. For now, I need you to deliver this head and a note to a certain spot. You won't get in trouble, I promise. Victor's still reeling, but Damian's already moving on. They part ways, and Damian heads straight for the Black Snake's headquarters, a bold move considering it's smack in the middle of the city. Cedric, the snake himself, has set up shop right under everyone's noses. At the entrance, Two grim-faced gangsters block Damian's path. "What's your business here?" they growl. Damian doesn't flinch. "I'm Damian," he says, and their eyes widen. They know exactly who he is, the guy their boss has been talking about. Relieved they're clued in, Damian keeps it cool. "Move aside. I've got business with your boss, not you." The guards smirk, taunting him. "Just walk past us and go inside, tough guy." But before Damian can step forward, one of them pulls a flare gun and fires it into the sky. The signal's clear. Suddenly, the shadows come alive. Mages and thugs slink out from their hiding spots, surrounding Damian. Cedric's been expecting him, and he's not taking chances. But Damian? He's not fazed. Not even a flicker of fear crosses his face. He's sizing up the crowd, almost smirking, like they're the ones who should be scared. "You'll regret this," he mutters, reaching into that bag of his, ready to pull out whatever nasty surprise he's got stashed. Meanwhile, inside the Black Snake's lair, Cedric's playing host to the city's big shots, Governor Sebastian Baker and his knight, Robert. The room's all decadence, overflowing plates, clinking glasses, and giggling women. Sebastian's loving every second of it, so much so that he leans in, voice thick with wine. "Cedric, I've got a deal for you. Those merchant spots the other syndicates control, they're yours. Take them all." Cedric's eyes gleam, but he plays it humble. "That's generous, but won't the other syndicates kick up a fuss?" Sebastian waves it off. "I'll squash any protests with my authority. You've got nothing to worry about." Robert, the knight, chimes in, eager to please. "Wish I could do something for you too, Cedric." Cedric flashes a sly smile. "No need, Robert. You're already doing plenty protecting this city." Robert blushes, and Sebastian doubles down. "Whatever you need, Cedric, it's yours." They keep eating, drinking, oblivious to the storm brewing outside. In Cedric's mind, though, he's laughing. He's playing these fools like pawns, biding his time until he can seize the whole city. Soon, they'll be bowing to him. But the mood shifts when one of Cedric's men bursts into the room. Cedric's face darkens. "I've got guests, idiot," he snaps. The guard stammers an apology. "It's important. Damon's here." At the headquarters. Cedric freezes, his mind racing. He'd hired that dark mage to deal with Damian, but he wasn't stupid enough to bank on that alone. He'd prepped his crew for this exact moment. "Go," he tells the guard, voice calm but cold. Damon's walked right into his grave. Back outside, Damian's not waiting for an invitation. He downs a couple of stamina-boosting tonics, his body practically humming with energy. In one brutal charge, he tears through the gangsters like a blade through paper. Heads roll, bodies split, blood paints the ground. He's a one-man slaughterhouse, moving with terrifying precision. And even as the chaos erupts, Damian's calm. He's got a plan, and whatever's in that bag of his is about to make things a whole lot messier. Cedric steps out of the building, heading straight to the balcony to see how his men are holding up. But what he sees shocks him. Damian is tearing through them like they're nothing. Cedric's frozen in fear and surprise, can't believe this one guy just wiped out a whole bunch of his crew single-handedly. He turns to his subordinate, forced to ask if Damian is really who he claims to be. The guy confirms it, but that only confuses Cedric more. Damian's known as the good-for-nothing son, but Cedric had no idea he was this skilled. Then it hits him, the dark mage is nowhere in sight, which means Damian probably took him out too. Things are spiraling out of control. Cedric knows he needs backup fast. He bolts back inside, leaving his subordinate standing there baffled. Now Damian's facing off against the mages. They've got their magic staffs ready, smirking like they know he can't block what's coming. They unleash a massive fireball straight at him, but Damian doesn't budge. He just points his sword right at the incoming blast, and the mages burst out laughing in his face. They mock him, saying he's an idiot for trying to stop their flames with a sword. But surprise, they're in for it. Damian catches the whole attack with his blade using this secret move, Countless Thunder Shadow Revelation. He turns the flames right back on them, slamming it into their spot with a huge explosion. The mages can't dodge, they're all charred to death. With the small fry cleared out, Damian gears up to storm the headquarters and drag out the boss. But suddenly, he senses a massive aura closing in. He reacts just in time, dodging a punch that would have flattened him. Damian leaps back, eyeing the new guy who's just shown up. This stranger's dangerous, his aura's prickling Damian's skin like needles. Turns out, it's Robert, and the power rolling off him screams official knight. As if that's not bad enough, Damian's suddenly surrounded by soldiers. He's stunned to see a knight in a dump like this. It means someone's big is pulling strings. That's when the governor's voice roars from the distance. Sebastian demands to know why Damian is causing trouble in the middle of the city. Sebastian promises Damian that he is going to be punished for this. Damian can't believe it. He rudely asks the governor to confirm if he just said he is going to be punished. Sebastian claims that Damian has done damage to the city. Sebastian claims that Damian attempted to kill Cedric, who was just a kind businessman. In addition to this, he attacked Cedric's company, terminating a bunch of his employees. While the governor's busy saying his trash, the bystanders are shocked he's calling Cedric a businessman. Everyone knows the guy's a gangster, but Sebastian's painting him like a saint. After saying all the trash that he wants to say, Sebastian tells Damian that his offenses are unforgivable. Cedric's grinning now, loving how this is playing out. With the governor's protection, Damian can't touch him. That's when it clicks for Damian, this is the guy he's been hunting. He calls out politely, telling Cedric to come over so he can punch him in the head. Cedric's floored by how impudent Damian Island. Damian already suspected Black Snake had ties in the city admin, but this? They're straight up worshipping Cedric. He pokes the bear again, telling Sebastian that he is a very funny man to have called a trash like Cedric a kind businessman. Sebastian screams at Damian, telling him to keep his mouth shut. He lets him know that he will be willing to reduce his sentence if he begs for forgiveness. Damian fires back that he sees no reason why he should beg, since he didn't commit a crime. That crushes Sebastian's ego. He decides to punish Damian for it. He lets him know that he already tried to be lenient, but he made things hard. Sebastian then calls on Robert to deal with Damian. Robert acknowledges the order and he steps forward. He walks toward Damian, asking him to drop his weapon and submit himself to arrest. Damian just laughs at the guy and teases him about being the guardian knight. Damian's words hit Sebastian hard, but then he notices something off Damian's, not scared at all. He asks Damian if he is bold or just outright stupid. Damian simply replies, telling Sebastian that he is confident. Sebastian laughs when he hears this, and he calls Damian a fool. He immediately swings his weapon at Damian, aiming to strike him. Damian dodges, but the spot he was just standing is shattered from the force. Deep down, Damian knows he's only acting confident. In a real fight, he's no match for Sebastian. He figures he just needs to hold out until the right moment hits. But while he's thinking that, he loses focus, leaving himself wide open. Sebastian's on him in a flash. Damian barely reacts in time, trying to block the powerful attack before backflipping away. He lands on his knees, realizing his arms burned bad. He's worried he did his best to deflect, but still got hit. He starts wondering where his plan B island. Suddenly, Sebastian's right there again, asking him where he is looking. That's when Damian truly gets how insanely fast Sebastian Island. He's about to get his head crushed when someone jumps in, blocking the attack with just their arm. The stranger parries it clean, sending Sebastian's weapon clattering to the ground. Everyone's shocked, and Sebastian blurts out his surprise that Damian had an associate. Sebastian then demands that the newest arrival introduce themselves. The stranger pulls off their hood. It's a girl in shining armor, looking straight up terrifying. Just seeing her, sweat's pouring down Sebastian's face. He realizes the lady standing in front of him is a freaking paladin. Right then, Damian hears Victor rushing over. Damian smiles, asking Victor why he came so late. Victor's with two other hooded guys. Victor grins while telling his master that he has finally arrived. Cedric can't believe a paladin just entered the mix. This means the church is involved now. He wonders if they already know that he made a deal with the Dark Mages. Meanwhile, Damian's just relieved his servant's back. He messes with Victor, tickling his cheeks. Victor asks him if he is fine, but Damian claims that he is not because he had to wait too long. He jokingly asks Victor if he is eager to get fired. Damian's impressed with the paladin. Damian then tells Victor that he is glad that he did what he asked of him. Victor smiles, assuring Damian that he can always handle his chores. A few hours earlier, Victor had rushed to the church just like Damian instructed him to. He got there to find a dusty road, a desperate man stumbling into a quiet church courtyard, sweat dripping from his brow. Victor's panting, his chest heaving as he interrupts a group of holy folk deep in prayer. He's got no time for pleasantries, blurting out, "Is this the branch of the Holy Church?" A woman steps forward, her nun's habit swaying, but there's a glint of steel in her eyes. She's a paladin, and she demands, "Why have you come?" Victor, still catching his breath, doesn't hesitate. "I came to deliver a message from my master," he says, pulling out a crumpled note, "and brace yourself a severed head in a sack." He hands them over, saying, "Daman told me that the items I'm holding are evidence that someone is working with the Dark Mage." The paladin's eyes narrow, her interest piqued. She snatches the note, and even though its dark energy is fading, she senses the taint of black magic. Her gaze catches a strange symbol on the paper's edge. Without a word, she grabs the sack, peers inside, and pulls out the head. It's Agito, a notorious leader of Yulan, the kind of name that makes the church's blood boil. Rage radiates off her, and Victor feels it like a storm brewing. She rips off her cape, revealing gleaming paladin armor underneath. Gone is the gentle nun. Now she's a warrior, her presence commanding. Victor's thrown, wondering, is this even the same woman? She turns to him, her voice softer but firm, addressing his master through him. "The church has received the evidence that you sent, and we will now be the ones to oversee things." Daman, standing nearby, nods. "I'm ready to leave everything to them," he says, calm as ever. The paladin bows, a gesture of respect, and thanks him for his understanding. Damon's smug, though he's got a paladin on his side, and he knows what that means. These holy warriors live for God, serving the poor with one hand and burning heretics with the other. Fanatics, vanguards of the church, and now, one's in his corner. The scene shifts. The paladin steps forward, addressing a crowd of nervous citizens and soldiers. "The church has received a report about someone who made contact with the wanted Dark Mage," she declares, her voice cutting through the murmurs. "This person is currently in landwork. Of hey day." Gasps ripple through the crowd. "A Dark Mage? Here?" She continues, "While investigations are ongoing, the church will be in charge of the city." Sebastian, the city's governor, bristles. "Landwork is a city that was granted permission to self-govern by the kingdom," he protests, his voice sharp. He's not about to hand over his city. But the paladin's unmoved. "Vanquishing heretics is the will of God," she says coldly. "The authority of the church overrules that of the kingdom." Sebastian's not backing down, arguing until she drops a bombshell. "You and your knight are prime suspects in our investigations." Sebastian's stunned. "We have no reason to work with a Dark Mage," he snaps. But the paladin's gaze shifts to Cedric, his knight, and her voice turns venomous. "He was the one who hid and supported the Dark Mage," she says, pointing at him. "Just by protecting the Dark Mage, you have already doomed yourselves." Sebastian turns to Cedric, his voice shaking. "Is what the paladin says the truth?" Cedric's quick to deny it. "I don't have a reason to do so," he insists. But the paladin's not buying it. She pulls out a notebook, the notebook sent by Damon. "This is a record of you buying items for the Dark Mage," she says, her tone like a blade. "Every single item you bought is written down in this book. All we need to do is cross-check this at the stores to know if you're lying." Cedric's cornered, his face paling. He curses under his breath, muttering about someone named Egao. Why would he even write down the items? He hisses, still playing innocent. "I have nothing to do with the Dark Mage." The paladin's done talking. Arrest them, she orders, pointing at Cedric, Sebastian, and their ally Robert. Soldiers move in. Sebastian's eyes dart to Damian, who's smirking like a fox. It hits him Damian planned this, every step. If the church takes him, torture's next. Cedric, desperate, tries to stir things up. He yells at Robert, "Are you going to surrender and allow yourself to be taken away so easily? You're being framed for what you don't know." Robert's had enough. His eyes lock on his axe, lying nearby. In a flash, he snaps his handcuffs, shoves the soldiers aside, and bolts for his weapon. He grabs it, aura surging through his body and blade, and charges the paladin, roaring, "I'll kill every last member of the church to escape!" Cedric and his crew smirk, thinking Robert's got this. Damian, though, knows better. He's seen what paladins can do. The paladin moves like lightning. Robert swings, but she dodges effortlessly, her speed blinding. "You've made a foolish mistake," she says, and before he can react, her fist slams through his aura, his armor, his body. One punch, and Robert's impaled, blood pooling as he collapses. The crowd freezes. Cedric and his allies gape, their confidence shattered. The paladin stands over Robert's body, her hand dripping, her voice ice cold. "Those who disobey the will of God, whoever it may be, will be punished, God willing." With Robert down, Cedric and Sebastian are dragged away, no fight left. Cedric's face is shoved into the dirt, while Sebastian still clings to his title, shouting about being governor. Victor, watching it all, turns to Damian. "Is Cedric Blacksnake's boss?" he asks. Damian nods. "Yes." Victor laughs, mocking Cedric. "He's just a fat ass like me, with no aura." Cedric's seething, but he's powerless. Damian steps forward, all charm, thanking the paladin. "Everything was sorted pretty easily," he says, but he's quietly awed. He knew she was strong, but this strong? He guesses she's an apprentice of the Azure Flame, the church's mightiest saint, a legend who's felled countless heretics. The paladin, unfazed, approaches him. "The church acknowledges your effort," she says, "and will not charge you with any crime." Damian plays coy, but she sees through him. "I'm aware that you intentionally got the church involved to cover up your attack on the Black Snake," she says. Damian's caught, but he owns it, bowing. "The Dark Mage caused trouble in my family's territory," he admits. "He even tried to harm my family." The paladin considers this, then nods. "I have no intentions of holding you accountable." Damian's relieved she's more flexible than he expected. Then she drops another surprise. "The bounty on Agito's head will be given to you." Damian blinks. "There's a bounty?" he asks. She smiles faintly. 10 gold coins. Victor nearly chokes a small castle's worth. Damian's tempted, but he's got bigger plans. "I have something else to request," he says, his voice low, scheming. Victor can't wrap his head around it. Damian's about to turn down a fat stack of bounty cash after blowing through so much already. But the paladin leans in, cool as steel, and says it's possible to claim something else instead. "What do you want?" she asks him straight up. Damian doesn't hesitate. "I'd like one of the mana cultivation techniques held by the church." Her eyes go wide, shock hitting like a slap. "You're strong enough to wipe out the Black Snake by yourself," she says, "but you still want a mana cultivation technique." See, Damian picked up on something crucial after tangling with that dark mage. He got lucky beating Agito, all thanks to that raw power of authority, but tougher foes are coming, and he knows it. He needs to climb higher, fast. Those night-level mana training techniques? That's the key. He locks eyes with her. "I've only learned basic-level techniques," he tells the paladin. "That's why I'm asking for this, so I can master something more advanced." She's floored, absolutely floored, realizing he hit his current strength, scraping by on basics alone. She steps closer, peering at him, and senses that thick aura churning inside him already. If he's telling the truth, this guy's a freak of nature. And it clicks for her too, the way he cut down a heretic without a blink. That's paladin material. She straightens up, voice dropping low. There's a better alternative for you to get even stronger. Damian's caught off guard, brows shooting up. She presses on, enthusiasm firing in her eyes. Would you be willing to become a paladin? He shuts it down cold. I'm not interested. She freezes, rejection stinging like a fresh wound. Why won't you consider being one? She demands, her face twisting fierce. Scary enough that Victor ducks behind Damian for cover. This is considered to be the greatest honor that allows an individual to punish evil. Damian doesn't flinch, he's built different. No room for intimidation from some holy enforcer. Faith? Never bought into it. And playing lapdog for the church, chasing heretics on their leash? Hard pass. But he can't spit that truth at her, so he spins a yarn, soft and humble. I'm not yet worthy of receiving the love of God, he says. Then, layering it on, I only wish to travel the world and follow the traces of the divine as a humble devotee. Victor's jaw drops. That's the best lie his master's got? He swears she sees right through the bullshit. But no, the paladin grabs Damian's hands, eyes lighting up like she's found a lost relic. This is the first time I will hear such holy words, she says, thrilled. Victor blinks, stunned. It worked? She nods firmly. The church will provide a mana cultivation technique instead of the bounty. A beat, hopeful. However, I hope that you will change my mind one day and come back to the church to become a paladin. She pauses, then adds, one more thing. The talks dragged on forever, dull as dirt, but now she cuts to it. My name is Agnes, she says, and I am the first apprentice of the Azure Flame. Damian's face cracks into a grin. He knew it. It is an honor to meet you, he replies, smooth. Can I conclude my business now? He asks her. Agnes tilts her head, puzzled. What business? But she waves it off. You are free to do as you please. Right on cue, Damian strides over to Cedric, who's still flapping his gums with trash talk. One brutal kick to the gut, and Cedric's heaving, puking his guts out. Damian sneers down. Your belly is so fat that it feels like punching a cushion. Cedric sputtering, mouth opening, to call him a piece of trash. Bam. Another kick, straight to the head. Cedric flies, crashes into the dirt, hard enough to crater it. Victor and Agnes stare, jaws slack. Damian dusts his hands, turns to her. I'm finally satisfied. Victor edges up, voice small. Is it finally over? Yeah, Damian says, though doubt flickers in his eyes. Not entirely sure. Cut to the Leon Bloom estate. The family head Irvin's old man, Holland, storms in, freezes at his son, huddled in bed, shaking like a leaf. He rushes over. What happened to you? Irvin's sobbing, voice breaking. I almost died at Damian's hands. Holland's gut twists. His bright, cocky boy, reduced to this? He whirls on the guard. Explain. The guard spills it. Damian's the one who thrashed him. Holland's rage erupts. He hurls a vase, shattering it. A lowborn scum touching his blood? No way it was fair. Must have been dirty tricks. Send knights to the Haxen estate, he snarls. Bring Damian to me like a dog. Meanwhile, Damian's back home, but Agnes and her crew trail him like shadows. Paul and his wife greet them at the door, smiles plastered on, though Paul's seething inside, hating that his boys dragged zealots into their den. He plays it smooth. My son already told me that you will be coming to stay at the estate for a while. Agnes nods. It is a decision that was made so that we can investigate the heretic. Paul scrambles, forcing a chuckle. The house is small, so there might not be enough rooms for you to stay in. That dies quick, when Agnes hauls out a bulging sack of coin gratitude, she calls it. Paul's tune flips. You are free to make yourselves at home, and rest wherever you want to. With the old man squared away, Agnes pulls Damian aside. Thank you for allowing the investigation team to stay in your estate. It was her ask all along, the one she slipped in back when she laid it out to the higher-ups. Agnes had one more request for Damian. She turns to him and says she'd like to ask him something else. Just like before, she urges him to become a member of the church and spread the gospel. Meanwhile, Damian's parents are watching, convinced she's trying to woo their son. Then, moments later, Agnes hands Damian the mana cultivation manuals he requested. She assures him they're specially selected to fit what he wants. Damian thanks her for the help, but he's surprised she's giving him 2 books. Agnes reveals that one is a sword technique manual. She didn't think it would feel right to give him a cultivation manual without a matching sword technique. Damian knows he doesn't need it, but hey, no harm in having it. The book's titled The Destructive Sword Technique, and the second one's Destructive Energy Technique. Damian's shocked he never saw these in his past life. Agnes lets him know it wasn't easy to acquire them, and Damian thanks her once again. She goes further, saying it was hard because of opposition from the church. She only got them with help from her master, the Azure Flame. Turns out, Azure Flame got interested when Agnes told him about Damian. He said Damian's the kind of chosen one the church needs. Because of that, Agnes asks again if he'd consider becoming a paladin. Damian holds firm he's not interested. Agnes backs off, assuring him she won't ask again to avoid being seen as a troublemaker. Still, she hopes he changes his mind one day, and when he does, to come find her. As she walks away, Damian just confirms what he thought. Agnes is nothing but a fanatic. Later, the church investigative team heads to Agodo's hideout for their probe. One of them voices his doubt he can't believe Damian killed Agato. Agato's a powerful mage who's evaded the church for ages. His colleague nods, saying Agodo might be weak in combat, but he's still a dark mage, no way someone like Damian takes him out. They're convinced Damian's lying, but since Agnes believes him, their hands are tied. They debate raising it as a concern. Suddenly, Agnes appears behind them, telling them they can actually trust Damian. The two jump, shocked. She showed up out of nowhere. Agnes gets their doubts but insists Damian didn't lie. One says it's hard to believe Damian killed Agato. Agnes reminds them Damian already explained how he dodged the attack and cut off his head. To the two, that sounds like total trash, impossible. Agnes admits that on the day Damian sent Agodo's head, she doubted him too. That's why she hung back and watched him fight the Black Snake goons. She saw him take on dozens without a scratch. She even witnessed him deflect a fireball, a magic spell. The two are flawed. That's supposed to be impossible. Agnes tells them it is possible. She learned that swordmasters can block any attack, including magic. They suspect Damian's a swordmaster, but Agnes rules that out. She's certain he's not there yet, but his potential is unreal. Agnes, sharp and determined, is leading an investigation team, but she's got her eyes on someone else. She's watching Damian, convinced he's no ordinary warrior. Damian can become a great asset to the church, she says, her voice steady but brimming with certainty. She's here to sway him, to get him to meet Azure, and she's not shy about it. Set aside your doubts, she urges her team, and focus on the investigation. Her words cut through the air like a blade, pushing everyone forward. But trouble's already closing in. From the distance, hoofbeats thunder. 3 knights from Leon Bloom are riding hard toward the estate, 2 apprentices, Lavender and Opulpus, trailing behind their leader, Garrick, a man with a cold edge. Garrick's got orders from Marcus Holland, capture Damian. Simple, right? But Garrick's got other plans. This will be too easy, he mutters, his voice dripping with disdain. He's not just here to grab Damian, he wants to punish him, to make him pay for tarnishing the family name. They pass an old man on the road, frail and unassuming. Garrick pulls his horse to a stop. Are you a resident of the Haxen estate? He demands. The old man nods, confused. Yes. Before he can say another word, Garrick's blade flashes. The old man's head tumbles to the ground, blood pooling in the dirt. No warning, no reason, just a brutal swing. Garrick smirks, wiping his sword. He didn't bow to the Leon Bloom crest, he says, as if that justifies it. Lavender and Opulpus exchange uneasy glances. They know the old man was blind, but they bite their tongues. Cross Garrick, and you might end up like that poor soul. He turns to them, his eyes glinting with malice. When we reach the estate, drag Damian out. Then we wipe everyone else out. Back at the estate, Victor's sweeping the yard, lost in his chores, when he feels eyes on him. He turns 3 knights loom, their armor catching the fading light. Fear grips him, but he stands his ground. Meanwhile, Agnes and her team are forced to abandon Agato's hideout as it collapses in a cloud of dust and debris. They're dusting themselves off, ready to move, when they spot Damian. He's perched on a rock, meditating, a faint glow of mana swirling around him. Agnes freezes, her breath catching. She gave him that destructive energy technique, a cultivation method to absorb mana from the surroundings. But this is unreal. He's mastered it in hours. Damian's eyes snap open, and he blinks, startled to see Agnes and her team gawking. He steps toward her, calm, but curious. "Are you done with the investigation?" he asks. "Yes," Agnes replies, still reeling. "You've made some progress with what I'm seeing." Damian shrugs, almost sheepish. "I've made progress, but it's just a little." He's downplaying it, but he knows why she warned him about that book. The destructive energy technique is a game changer, designed to fuel the heavy mana drain of his destructive sword technique. It's letting him pull in mana faster than anything else he's tried, even tapping into external sources temporarily. The air between them grows heavy, a mix of awe and tension. Agnes opens her mouth, maybe to suggest dinner, but Damian cuts her off. His nose twitches. "I smell bloodlust," he says, his voice low, urgent. "A troublemaker's here." Before Agnes can respond, he's gone, a blur of speed that leaves her team stunned. "He's controlling his mana with extreme precision," Agnes whispers. That's the only way he could move that fast. At the estate, things are going south fast. Victor's on the ground, battered and bruised, the knights towering over him. They demand to know where Damian is, but Victor grits his teeth. "I'm not ready to tell you where Damian is," he says, defiant, "because you're trying to hurt him." The knights raise their fists again when Paul bursts out of the house, charging toward them. "Leave Victor alone!" he shouts, pulling Victor to his feet. "You okay?" he asks, his voice tight with worry. Then he turns on the knights, fury in his eyes. "Why are you hurting a civilian without provocation?" Garrick steps forward, his tone icy and menacing. "What I just did to Victor," he says, "is nothing compared to the dishonor Damian brought to the house of Leon Bloom." Garrick, cold and commanding, faces Paul with a grim ultimatum. "We're here for Damon," he says, his voice like steel. "Hand him over, and no one else gets touched." Paul's not buying it. He's been bracing for Leon Bloom to hit back, but this is low, even for them. He knows the second he gives up his son, the estate will drown in blood. With fire in his eyes, Paul steps forward. "I'm not handing over my son," he declares, voice steady as stone. Garrick raises an eyebrow, almost amused. "You sure about that, Paul? You'll regret this." Paul doesn't flinch. "I'm not changing my mind." That's when Garrick's mask slips. He turns to his men, his tone icy. "Tear this place apart until you find Damian." But then, a voice cuts through the madness, deep and terrifying, like a storm rolling in. "Have you lost your minds?" It's Damian. He steps forward, radiating a presence so heavy it feels like the air itself is choking. His eyes burn with fury, and even Garrick feels a chill. The knights freeze, paralyzed by the sheer weight of Damian's killing intent. They can't move, can't breathe, as he strides past them toward his father and Victor, who's crumpled on the ground, beaten to a pulp. Damian kneels by his father. "You okay?" he asks. Paul nods, shaken but steady. "I'm fine, but Victor." His voice trails off, worry etched on his face. Damian's gaze shifts to the knights, his voice low and dangerous. "You're lucky Victor's tough. If he'd died from your beating, I'd have ended you right here." Garrick, regaining his composure, scoffs. It clicks he's face to face with Damian. "You think you're hot stuff because you took down Erwin with cheap tricks?" he sneers. Get him. Make him bow. Opulpus and Lavender, Garrick's lackeys, charge at Damian like loyal dogs. Big mistake. Damian's done playing nice. If you won't learn manners, he growls, I'll beat them into you. He grabs the nearest knight Lavender and twists his arm with a sickening crunch before slamming a fist into his chest. The blow ripples through the armor, and Lavender drops, gasping. Opulpus is next. Damian moves like a predator, delivering a brutal kick under the knight's jaw that sends him soaring. 2 knights down, effortless. Garrick stands there, jaw slack, as the dust settles. Then, a weak voice breaks the silence. Damian. It's Victor, stirring awake, bloodied but alive. Damian turns, concern flashing across his face. You good? He asks. Victor, ever the fighter, flashes a weak grin and a thumbs up. Damian's lips curve into a rare smile. My servant's one interesting guy, he mutters, almost to himself. Is quite an interesting person. Garrett, still reeling, swings off his horse and strides toward Damian, his mind racing. He's piecing it together, muttering to himself that Erwin's defeat wasn't some cheap trick. But how? How does someone like Damian have skills this sharp? Damian's eyes glint, cold and unbothered. You don't need to know that, Garrick, he says, brushing him off. Then, like a spark in dry grass, Garrick bursts into laughter, wild and unhinged. He jabs a finger at Damian, voice booming. You're not the real Damian Haxen. The crowd freezes, murmurs rippling through them. Confusion hangs heavy. Damian tilts his head, calm as ever. What do you mean, not the real me? Garrick's face twists, his voice a thunderclap. Don't lie to me! He's convinced it's a plot, a scheme by enemies of the Lamb Bloom family to crush their legacy. You're an imposter, he roars, hired to trash Erwin and ruin the Leon Bloom name. His sword flashes out, rage fueling every move, ready to carve justice into Damian's flesh. Damian just sighs, disappointed. An official knight? He mutters. And you're this dumb? Garrick doesn't hear it. He's already lunging, sword raised, ego screaming, he's got this in the bag. He sets his stance, waiting for Damian to step into his killing zone. The crowd holds its breath. Garrick swings, fast and fierce, but Damian? He blocks it like it's nothing, a manic grin spreading across his face. He's thrilled finally, a real fight, a proper night. With a flick of his wrist, he shoves Garrick back, staggering him. Garrick's stunned, but his pride screams it's a fluke. He unleashes a storm of swings, each one meant to overwhelm. Damian dances through them, untouchable, his movements a blur. Then, his eyes flare blue, and he's gone moving so fast Garrick can't track him. Before anyone can blink, Damian's fist crashes into Garrick's head, sending him sprawling into the sand like a broken doll. The crowd gasps. Damian looms over him, fury burning in his gaze. That kick, he growls, was for my servant, Victor. Garrick scrambles to his feet, bloodied but defiant, and charges with new venom. He unleashes his ultimate move, the lion's mighty sword of speed, his blade slicing forward like a predator's claw. It's terrifying, unstoppable. Except Damian doesn't flinch. He plants himself, perfect and steady, and meets the attack head-on. Sparks fly as Garrick's sword shatters. In a heartbeat, Damian blitzes past, his blade flashing. Garrick's scream rips through the air as his right arm hits the ground. He collapses, writhing, while Paul, wide-eyed, watches in shock. Victor, though, pumps his fist, grinning like a kid. Garrick's still screaming about his arm when Damian steps forward, sword at his throat. Please, spare me, Garrick begs, voice cracking, still clinging to his theory. You're not the real Damian. Damian's had enough. I am Damian, he snarls, leaning closer. You should have begged earlier. Might be too late now. His voice drips with contempt. You messed with my family. And your ugly servants? They just climbed the ranks of the most ugly in the world. Garrick's pleas grow desperate. I'm sorry, he cries, But Damian's not listening. He waves Victor over, who's gripping a club with a wicked gleam in his eye. The crowd winces as Victor goes to work, pummeling Garrick and his men until their faces are swollen, barely recognizable. Victor's ready for another swing, but Damian holds up a hand. Stop. One more hit, and he's done for. Victor grins, half joking. How about we take 1 or 2 more limbs? Damian's about to agree when his father, Paul, steps in, voice sharp. Garrick seizes the moment, groveling. I'm sorry, Paul, for everything. Paul's face hardens. A single apology doesn't cut it, he snaps. If Damian wasn't this strong, we'd be finished. Garrick, sensing the end, slams his head to the ground, begging for mercy. Paul pauses, the weight of the moment hanging heavy. Finally, he gestures to Damian to stand down. And Damian? He wasn't planning to kill anyway, just wanted Garrick to feel the fear. With the church deal locked in, Damon turns to Garrick, voice steady but sharp. You heard that? My family's under the church's protection now. Go tell House Lion Blue. He sees the fear flicker in Garrick's eyes and knows he's won this round. You and your men are free to leave, he says, and just like that, Garrick and his crew bolt, tails between their legs. Victor's practically bouncing, shouting, The family's free! But Paul's not buying it. We're not out of the woods yet, he says, calling a family meeting to figure out their next move. In the meeting, Abel's confused. Why are we even talking about this? Didn't we just secure the church's protection? Louise cuts in, voice low. The church won't fully step in. Abel's stunned, and Paul backs her up. She's right. The church stays out of noble disputes. And, House Lionbloom? They're not just a military threat. They've got ways to crush us if they want. He lays out their options, pay off House Leon Bloom, or find a higher-ranking noble house for protection. The latter's their best shot, he says. Then Agnes pipes up. There's another way. Damian could become a paladin. The room goes quiet. Damian's jaw drops. He didn't see that coming, especially not in front of everyone. He shuts it down fast, shaking his head. Paul dismisses the idea, respecting Damon's choice. But Abel's had enough. He shoots up from his seat, voice sharp. Why are you just accepting Damon's decision? If he becomes a paladin, this is over. He glares at his father. Order him to do it. Damon's been a pain in the ass this whole time. Damon's face twists with anger, but Abel keeps going. This all started because of him. Paul's aura shifts, dark and heavy. Sit down while I'm still asking nicely, he says, and Abel freezes, sinking back into his chair. Paul's voice softens, but it's firm. I agree, this started with Damian. But I don't blame him. He reminds them of Erwin's dishonorable moves on Louise. If Damon hadn't stepped in to challenge him, Erwin wouldn't have stopped. Damon protected Louise when I should have. Paul stands, placing a hand on Damon's shoulder. You did a good job. Damon's face lights up, pride swelling as his father praises him for standing up to House Lion Bloom's insults. From now on, Paul says, I'll handle this. Damon opens his mouth to suggest something, but Paul cuts him off. Let me act like a father, just this once. The moment's cut short when the butler bursts in. There's a visitor from House Gold Pixie. Paul's brow furrows. He's never dealt with them. The butler drops the bomb. Damon borrowed money, using the family's wheat fields as collateral, and the repayment's overdue. Paul's fist connects with Damon's face before he can blink. Fuming, Damon heads to the waiting room to face the debt collector. 05. The guy's a stranger at first. I'm Olan, he says, branch manager of Dash and Cash, a House Gold Pixie subsidiary. Damon's memory clicks. Olan's the one who convinced him to use the land as collateral, calling it a formality, since no commoner would dare take a noble's land. Damon curses his past self for falling for it. How much do I owe? He asks. Olan's reply is brutal. 300 gold coins. Damon's gut twists as Olan shows him the contract, undeniable proof. He can't even remember why he borrowed the money, but his family doesn't have that kind of cash. Visions of them as beggars flash through his mind. He protests, reminding Olan of his formality talk. Olan shrugs. I said that, sure, but Duke Goldpixie's ordered us to collect all debts, noble or not. Sweat beads on Damon's forehead, he screwed himself. Olan leans in, smirking. Don't have the money? Damon's expression crumples as he admits, I wasn't able to prepare the payment. Olan's grin widens, and he lounges back on the couch, yawning. You shouldn't have borrowed what you couldn't repay, he says. Now I'll collect however I want. He admits he knew Damon couldn't pay from the start. I love money, Olan says, but what I enjoy most is this moment watching nobles fall and beg. His eyes gleam, already picturing Damon's desperate pleas. All right, picture this. A tense room, the air thick with worry. Paul and the family are pacing, waiting for news about Damian's meeting with Olan. The stakes? Their entire future. The women try to calm the men, urging them to sit, but the guys are too wired. They know what's on the line. Louise steps in, her voice steady, reminding her dad, Damon has never failed us whenever he steps up to handle things. Paul nods, but his face is grim. That's when it's about violence, he says. Combat skills and negotiation skills are very different from each other. Cut to the waiting room chaos. Damian's already laying into Olan's men, who thought they could act tough. Bodies hit the floor, hard. Olan's jaw drops as his crew gets trashed. One guy, desperate, lunges at Damian with a blade, but Damian's faster, an uppercut sends the guy sprawling, out cold. Damian dusts off his hands, cool as ever, and says, the dude made the big mistake of drawing his sword against a noble. He calls it self-defense, but the glint in his eye says he's enjoying this. Olan's trembling now, shrinking as Damian stalks toward him. The man's on his knees, practically begging. But Damian? He switches gears, voice smooth, almost friendly, but with a chilling edge. I can't repay the money yet, he says. Olan's shaking, barely able to nod. It's fine, he stammers. Damian grabs him, all smiles but radiating menace, and proposes, let's pay the loan another way. Olan's too scared to say no. Next day, the mood's different, but no less heavy. Abel's a wreck, kneeling on the ground, clutching his head. He's muttering, disappointed, Damon was actually able to get out of the tight situation with violence yet again. Damian's packing to leave. His mom and sister hover, worried, telling him, take care of yourself and eat properly while you're away. Paul's had enough of Abel's meltdown. Get out of your zone, he snaps, and wish your brother a safe journey. Turns out, Damian pitched a plan to Paul, one he wasn't thrilled about, but agreed to. Agnes, standing nearby, looks crushed. She and Damian are parting ways. I appreciate all the help you've rendered so far, Damian tells her. She blushes, struggling to meet his eyes, and says, we'll be leaving the next day. She wishes him a blessed journey, her voice soft. He thanks her for the prayers. She tries one last time, hesitating. Damon, maybe you could become a paladin. He shuts it down, quick and firm. Damian's ready to go. He heads to the carriage. Olan's carriage, spacious and fancy. Victor's there, assuring him, I've loaded everything into the carriage. Olan's playing the good servant, promising, I'm going to make sure you have a smooth ride till we get to our destination. Damian nods, pleased. Good attitude, he says, then adds, let's have lobster for lunch. Victor signals the driver, and they're off, headed to House Gold Pixie. When they arrive, the mansion's a stunner, golden, sprawling, fit for the richest family in the kingdom. Damian's impressed, murmuring, a fitting mansion for the supposed richest family in the entire kingdom. Before ways from my comfort. He turns to Olan, all charm. You've helped me have a nice time till we reach the estate. Olan bows, saying, I've already let the Duke know you're coming, so all you need to do is enter. But inside, Olan's seething. He's been treated like a dog this whole trip. He mutters under his breath, wishing Damian a bad fate with the Duke, but out loud, he says, I wish things go your way. Damian tells Victor to wait and strides into the mansion. Inside, Adam Goldpixie, the Duke of Apple Kingdom, greets Damian like they're old acquaintances. "Why are you looking for me?" Adam asks, curious. Damian gets straight to it. "I borrowed money from your lender business, and it's reached the due date." Adam smiles, calling him a customer. But Damian drops the bomb. "I don't have the money, but I'd like to repay it another way." Adam's confused. What's this guy playing at? Damian leans in, voice steady. "I'll help you defeat the Leon Blooms." The room freezes. Adam's knights are stunned. Adam, piecing it together, says, "You must have heard the news. A gold mine's been found at the border between the Lion Blooms and Gold Pixies, two families who hate each other. They've set a duel with low-class knights to decide who gets the mine. Damian, with knowledge from a past life, knows the Lion Blooms win, using the gold to grow stronger, while the Gold Pixies fade. His plan? Help the Gold Pixies win the duel to settle his debt and keep the Lion Blooms in check. It's a bold move, a double win." Adam's intrigued but skeptical. "Is it true you defeated the second son of the Lion Blooms and the Black Snake?" he asks. Damian's smile is pure confidence. "Everything you heard is nothing but the truth." Adam admits, the offer is quite tempting. "I've been looking for a knight for the duel." Damian's all in. "I'm the perfect candidate to fight Michael, the oldest son of the Liam Blooms." Adam's eyebrows shoot up. "You sure you can defeat Michael? He's considered a genius." Damian doesn't flinch. "Michael's skilled, but the same can be said for me." One of Adam's knights, Ernst, scoffs. "Some rumors are bound to be exaggerated," he says. He's banking on Chelsea, who's been gone a month, searching for the perfect fighter. "Chelsea's never disappointed," Ernst adds. "She's probably on her way with someone better." Damian's unfazed but annoyed these knights are messing with his plan. Adam, testing him, asks, "What do you think I should do, since my men advise against you?" Damian smells the challenge and steps up. "You're making a mistake," he tells Adam. "Having me as your candidate is the best thing you can do. No one Chelsea brings will be as good as me." The knights bristle at his arrogance. "Why do you think you're the best when Chelsea hasn't even arrived with her man?" they demand. Damian doesn't hesitate. "I'll block Ernst's ultimate attack," he says, locking eyes with the knight. "That'll prove it." Ernst's stunned, but the gauntlet's been thrown. Picture this, a dusty arena, tension thick enough to choke on, and a crowd buzzing with whispers. Ernst, all high and mighty, is fuming. He's just heard the Duke's Council declare Damian, some low-class nobody, worthy of being a candidate. Ernst's face twists like he's bitten into something sour. "This lowlife?" he spits, glaring at Damian. He turns to Adam, the Duke himself, practically begging, "Give me permission to teach this fool a lesson." Adam, curious and maybe a bit bored, smirks and gives the nod. Just like that, Damian and Ernst are marching to the arena grounds for a duel. Victor, Damian's loyal friend, watches this unfold, jaw practically on the floor. He thought Damian was here to sweet-talk the Duke, not throw hands. "What happened?" Victor asks, bewildered. Damian just shrugs, cool as ever. "Didn't plan it, but here we are. Stay back, don't get hurt." The arena's quiet now, all eyes on the two fighters. Adam raises a hand, voice booming, "Begin!" Ernst slams his spear into the ground, kicking up dirt. "I'll forgive you, Damon," he sneers, "if you get on your knees and beg." Damian, unfazed, yawns and says, "Get down to business." The crowd gasps. Ernst's face goes red, veins popping. "You're about to get yourself killed," he roars. He's done talking. A terrifying blue aura erupts from him, swirling around his spear like a storm. Damian's eyes widen. Maybe he pushed the guy too far. Ernst charges, screaming, "I'm going to punch a hole through your face." His spear's a blur, wrapped in that blaring blue energy. Damian, quick on his feet, raises his sword to parry, but he fumbles, holds it wrong. The spear's impact shatters the blade like glass, sending Damian flying back, screaming in pain. Ernst laughs, cold and cruel. Idiot fell for my trick. Victor's shouting from the sidelines, voice cracking with fear, thinking his master's done for. But then Damian's back on his feet. The crowd goes silent. Ernst's smirk vanishes. No way, he mutters, stunned that Damian's still standing after that hit. Damian grins, blood on his teeth, and looks straight at Adam. I won the challenge. The representative spot's mine. Victor sprints over, throwing his arms around Damian. You're alive. I was so scared, he cries. Adam claps slowly, impressed. You endured Ernst's attack, he says, almost in awe. I doubted you, but you've proven me wrong. He steps forward, voice carrying over the arena. Damon is my representative. Ernst tries to argue, but Adam's glare shuts him up fast. It'd be good for you to shut your mouth, Adam warns, while I'm still willing to overlook your failure. Ernst is floored, muttering to himself, he wasn't even hurt? Even Damian feels a twinge of pity for the guy. Ernst is talented, a middle-class knight, but he just met the wrong opponent. Truth is, Damian's no low-class scrub, he's past that level, hiding his strength to play by the duel's rules. He'd used mana to block that attack at the last second. Without it, he'd be toast. Adam approaches, eyeing Damian. You must have internal injuries from that hit. He slips on a magic ring, conjuring a subspace with a flicker of light. From it, he pulls a small box and opens it to reveal shimmering pills. Balance pills, Adam says. Cost me a fortune from the Alchemy Academy. Damian's eyes light up. He knows these pills boost physical abilities, like a potion he'd taken before. Adam explains, knights use them for training, but they'll help with injuries too. Damian takes the pill, gratitude in his voice. Thank you. Adam pats his shoulder. I'm looking forward to what you can do. The next day, Damian's in the training room, feeling stronger, thanks to the pill. The place is packed with impressive gear, and he's taking it all in when a short guy struts in. You the Damian everyone's talking about? He asks. Damian nods. That's me. The guy grins, introducing himself. I'm Pavel Barund, low-class knight. These are my blood brothers. He gestures to a group behind him, and Damian's heart sinks. They look like a pack of clowns, not knights. Pavel keeps boasting. We missed your match last night, too busy training. But we would have taught you a lesson better than Ernst. He laughs, saying they're ready to take on the Leon Blooms in the duel next month. One for all, they chant, acting like they're hot stuff. Damian watches them spar, and it's painful. Their skills are sloppy, their moves weak, but they're grinning like they're champions. He can't believe it, these are his teammates? Victor notices Damian's grim expression and jogs over. What's wrong? He asks. Damian doesn't sugarcoat it. We're screwed, Victor. I'm not confident I can win with these losers as my team. A gritty training ground under a stormy sky, where Damon, this lone wolf of a knight, is stuck with a ragtag crew of so-called teammates. The air's thick with tension, and the stakes are high, a duel's coming, and it's a make-or-break moment for them all. The night before, Adam, the Duke, corners Damon about his training plans. Damon's blunt, I'd like to train alone. Adam saw it coming, but what throws him is Damon refusing to train with Yahello, of all people. That's when Adam starts thinking Damon's not just skilled, he's different. Curious, Adam turns to Yahello and asks, what do you make of Damon? Yahello doesn't hold back. Damon is an exceptional young man, he says. His idea to use mana at the last second to block Ernst's attack, not something everyone can do. Adam nods, then digs deeper. What about the duel? Do we have a shot? Yahello hesitates, his face grim. It's hard to say, he admits. It's a 3-man duel, and victory goes to the side that wins the first 2 matches. Doesn't matter if Damon's a beast, our other knights need to step up too. Adam presses, are the others training hard? Yahello's got some faith here. Vincenzo, a middle-class knight, is handling their training, he says. We've got nothing to worry about. But Damon? He's not so sure. He takes one look at his teammates and sees a disaster waiting to happen. These guys aren't just weak, they're a mess, barely holding their swords right. 0, 5. He's thinking, we're screwed. No way they're winning with this crew. So, Damon decides to take matters into his own hands. He steps up, calls out 3 of them, let's call them the losers, and they're stunned. Did he just trash talk us? Damon doesn't care. He straps on sandbags, smirking, and says, I'd like to have a sparring match with you. Pavel, one of the trio, is almost impressed, thinking, this guy's seen us fight and still wants a piece? He steps forward, ready to throw down. I'll be the first to fight Damian, he says. But Damon's not here for one-on-one. I don't want to fight you individually, he says, cool as ice. I want you all at once. Pavel's jaw drops, but he's not backing down. If that's what you want, he says, and the 3 drop their swords, charging at Damon like they're out for blood. Big mistake. Next thing Pavel knows, he's waking up, sprawled on the dirt, his head spinning. His buddies are still out cold. Damon's voice cuts through the haze. Pathetic loser. Pavel's reeling, trying to piece it together. He remembers charging at Damon with his crew, full of fire. Then nothing. It hits him like a sledgehammer. Damon dodged every single strike, all at once, and took them down with 1 hit each. 1 hit. When the others come to, they're staring at Damon like he's some kind of monster. They drop to their knees, half in awe, half in fear. Damon's not done. Who's been training you? He demands. Pavel, still dazed, mutters, Sebastian Vincenzo. Damon's eyes narrow. A mid-class knight, that explains the trash training. He wants to rip them out of Vincenzo's program, but he's not here to start a war yet. Instead, he lays down the law. When you're done with Vincenzo, you come to me. We spar, every time. Pavel's nervous. If Vincenzo finds out we're getting beat up, he'll know something's up, he says. Damon just grins. No matter how much I beat you, there won't be a scratch on you. Pavel blinks, realizing it's true they just got wrecked, but they're fine. No bruises, no cuts. How? Damon leans in, voice low. I learned a skill, he says. In my past life, there was a man who roamed the continent, reforming criminals. They called him the character corrector. His method? Beat them for an hour straight. If that didn't work, he'd double it. Longest he ever went was 500 hours. But he hated the blood, the mess. So he trained to master a technique, the traceless strike. Intense pain, no marks. That's what Damon just used on them, and they're feeling it humiliated, but unharmed. He looks at the trio, eyes cold. You understand how worthless you are now? They can't even argue. He's right. But Damon's not giving up. We've got a month before the duel, he says. I'm turning you bugs into fighters, no stem. Victor, watching from the sidelines, clutches his head, muttering about Damon stirring up trouble again. Damon just shrugs. I'm only teaching them a lesson, he says. Just then, a butler bursts in, out of breath. The Duke needs you, he says. Chelsea's back. Damon raises an eyebrow. What's the problem? The butler's face says it all. Chelsea, Adam's eldest daughter, is trouble. She sweeps into the hall, bowing to her father with a proud smirk. I have returned, she says. Ernst, standing nearby, lets out a relieved sigh. She's safe. Adam cuts to the chase. Did you find a knight for the duel? Chelsea's grin widens. I did, she says, gesturing to the figure behind her. The knight rises, voice booming. I am GMO Blackwing, also known as the Wild Beast. The name lands like a thunderclap. Everyone freezes. GMO Blackwing? The infamous mercenary? Yeah, this just got real. Picture this. A tense, dimly lit hall in the Apple Kingdom, the air thick with anticipation. Whispers of war and legendary warriors swirl like smoke. They're talking about Guillermo, a name that carries weight. This guy's a one-man army, they say, someone who carved through low-class knights in the Aclaran Kingdom's war like they were nothing. No one in their ranks could touch him. Even Adam, the king, cracks a grin when he hears Gurmo's name. "Even the Apple Kingdom has heard about me," Gurmo says, his voice dripping with pride, a smirk playing on his lips. Chelsea, Adam's daughter, steps forward, her eyes sharp with confidence. "Father, Gurmo has sworn loyalty to me," she declares, "and he'll be fighting in the duel." Her voice is unwavering. "Gurmo will defeat Michael." Ernst, one of Adam's advisors, nods. "Gurmo's strong enough to take down Michael," he says, matter of fact. To them, Gurmo's not just strong, he's perfection itself. Michael? He's still chasing that level. Adam's smile fades slightly. "That's good news," he tells Chelsea, "but things just got a bit complicated." Chelsea's brow furrows. "What do you mean?" she asks, caught off guard. Adam seizes the moment to shift the room's focus. "Let me introduce Damian," he says, gesturing to a man who steps into the light. No armor, no scars, just an ordinary-looking guy. Chelsea's jaw tightens, she's stunned. "Father, I told you to wait for me," she snaps. Adam shrugs, calm as ever. "You said that, but I never agreed to wait." Chelsea's voice rises, urgent. "Change the representative. There's nothing to think about. Damon's a nobody." She's practically shouting now, her faith in Gurmo unshakable. The most obvious choice is Gurmo. Gurmo, catching her praise, smirks at Damon, who stands unbothered. But Adam holds firm. "Gurmo might be strong," he says, "but Damian blocked Ernst's ultimate attack." Chelsea's face flushes with frustration. "You're just refusing to acknowledge my skills," she snaps, her words cutting. She keeps going, her tone sharp and disrespectful, until Adam's voice slices through. "Chelsea," he says, low but commanding, "we have guests." She forces a smile, her composure cracking. "My apologies," she says, her voice tight. It's the stress from the journey. Damian, watching quietly, sees it clear as day. There's bad blood here, a grudge simmering between Chelsea and her father. Adam, unfazed, turns to her. "I'll discuss this with the others before deciding." "You're free to leave." But before Chelsea can move, Gurmo steps forward, his presence looming. "No need to drag this out," he says, his voice bold. "Damon and I can settle this like men." Yahello, another figure in the room, raises an eyebrow, stunned by Gurmo's audacity, but lets him continue. Gurmo locks eyes with Damian. "The strongest between me and Damian should be the representative," he says. "Let's have a duel, right now." Chelsea's eyes widen. She'd warned Gurmo to stay quiet. But Adam, surprisingly, doesn't dismiss it. He turns to Damian. "What do you think?" Damon's no fool. He knows this is another test. He could fight, but he's got a better idea. "No need for a duel," he says, his voice steady. "If we're picking the strongest, let's test it right here." He gestures to the room. "A tussle, me and Gurmo." Gurmo laughs, loud and mocking. "I'm gonna pull your arm off," he taunts. Damon's eyes glint, his face darkening. "I'll only dislocate your shoulder," he fires back, his voice low and dangerous. Without warning, Gurmo lunges, grabbing for Damon's arm. But Damon's faster, smarter. He twists, using Gurmo's own momentum against him. In one fluid move, he lifts Gurmo and slams him to the ground with a thud that echoes through the hall. The room freezes. Jaws drop. Chelsea's eyes are wide, disbelief etched across her face. Yahello, watching closely, nods to himself. Gurmo attacked first, but Damian turned his strength against him, tossing him like he weighed nothing. This guy's skilled, Yahello thinks, and strong. Gurmo scrambles to his feet, face red with rage. "You humiliated me," he roars, his pride in tatters. Damian, cool as ever, leans into it. "I was gonna dislocate your shoulder," he says, "but you're stronger than I thought." His words are a deliberate jab, and Gurmo takes the bait. Fury overtakes him. Gurmo yanks out his weapons, ready to charge. Chelsea screams, "Gurmo, stop!" But he's too far gone, a beast locked on its prey. His eyes burn with intent, and nothing stopping him, except, maybe, Jael's voice, cutting through the chaos with an aura that demands attention. Picture a grand hall, heavy with tension, the kind that makes your skin prickle. The air's thick as Guillermo, all brash and reckless, draws his weapon in front of the Duke. Suddenly, Jael's voice cuts through like a blade. Stop. He's pants of the long. He grabs his sword, his presence swallowing the room whole. Guillermo, he says, his tone icy, how dare you unsheathe your weapon in the Duke's presence? Are you prepared to die? The sheer force of Jael's aura hits like a wave. Damon, watching from the side, feels it. Jael's no ordinary knight. He's the real deal, a high-class warrior radiating power. Jael's eyes lock on Guillermo, unyielding. I'll let this slide once, for Chelsea's sake, he warns. There won't be a second chance. The room settles, but the unease lingers. Adam, the Duke, claps his hands, breaking the silence. It's settled then, he declares. Damon will represent us. But before anyone can breathe easy, Ernst jumps in, his voice sharp. It wasn't a fair fight between Damon and Gumo, he argues. Gumo's exhausted from the journey. He hasn't had time to recover. Damon's jaw tightens. Ernst, always meddling, always trying to derail him. Ernst presses on. Gumo's a knight who fights with weapons. A fistfight doesn't prove his skill. Chelsea, quick to seize the moment, backs him up. Father, we need a proper duel to compare their abilities fairly, she says. Adam's face hardens. Stop forcing things, Chelsea, he snaps. The two of them spiral into a shouting match, voices echoing off the stone walls. Stop bragging about your incompetence, Adam roars. Chelsea freezes, the words hitting like a slab. The room falls into an awkward, heavy silence. Then, out of nowhere, Damon raises his hand, calm, but bold. Duke Adam, he says, may I accept Chelsea's request for a duel? All eyes turn to him. Adam, after a beat, nods. Yes. Later, outside the hall, Victor's fuming as he corners Damon. You're risking everything by accepting this duel, he hisses. You had nothing to lose either way. Damon's unfazed, a glint in his eye. I have my reasons, he says coolly. Stop nagging. Victor mutters under his breath, clearly thinking Damon's just stirring trouble again. They head to the blacksmith shop, Adam recommended, since Damon's sword snapped in his earlier clash with Ernst. He could probably beat Guillermo with a rusted blade, but why turn down the Duke's generosity? Inside the shop, the air smells of molten steel and polish. The attendant, expecting them, leads them to a room lined with gleaming weapons. Victor's eyes light up like a kid's. Whoa, he breathes, gawking at the display. Damon catches his excitement and smirks. Want one? He asks. Victor blinks, stunned. Something expensive, he ventures. Damon shrugs. Sure, Adam's footing the bill. Then Damon's gaze lands on something unusual, a sword with two blades fused at the hilt, unlike anything he's seen. The attendant notices his interest. That was commissioned by a knight who served the Duke, he explains. He left in a hurry before it was finished. Never even held it. Damon's eyes narrow. Did the knight provide unified ringing steel for it? The attendant's jaw drops. How did you know? Damon doesn't answer, but his mind races. This sword, it's like the one wielded by the sword musician, a master from his past life. The metal's rare, not just boosting mana, but pulsing it outward in waves. What's its name? Damon asks. The attendant pauses, then recalls the Thousand Sword. Damon doesn't hesitate. I'll take it, he says, sliding it into his scabbard with purpose. The attendants, shocked most, wouldn't dare wield a blade made of such volatile steel. Damon just smiles. I know exactly what it island. As they prepare to leave, a maid steps in, her demeanor soft but deliberate. I'm Rebecca, she says. I work for Chelsea. She requests to meet you, Damon. Damon's skeptical. I've got nothing to say to her, he replies. Rebecca leans in slightly. You might be wrong about that. She has more to offer than you think. Damon's not convinced, but curiosity tugs at him. Fine, he says. Lead the way. Rebecca guides them to a restaurant. Chelsea runs, a place so exclusive it's reservation only, meant for nobles. It's empty today, Rebecca says, because of you. They reach a private room, and Rebecca stops at the door. Go in, she tells Damon. He pushes it open, hit instantly by a sweet, almost intoxicating fragrance. Chelsea's there, seated at a table, pouring wine, her gaze sharp and menacing. Join me, Damon, she says, her voice low but commanding. Heavy with tension, the air thick with a strange, almost intoxicating scent. Chelsea leans back in her chair, a sly grin on her face as she toys with Damon, her words dripping with confidence. You're quick to anger, she teases, her voice light but sharp, like she's testing him. She tries to stall, suggesting they wait for the food before diving into business, but Damon's not having it. His eyes narrow, cutting through her games. Get straight to the point, he demands, his tone leaving no room for nonsense. Chelsea's smile falters for a split second. She realizes she can't toy with him like she planned. Leaning forward, she lays out her demand, her voice firm. I have just one condition. Step down as the representative of the house. Damon's gaze turns icy, a scornful edge to his voice. You're talking like someone who doesn't trust Gumo. Chelsea doesn't miss a beat, her words sharp and calculated. Gumo will cut you up if you pick up your weapon. I'm trying to preserve your strength for the main event. It'd be catastrophic if Gumo got injured in the battle. Damon's quiet for a moment, weighing her words. There's some sense in what she's saying, but he's not sold. Why should I step down? He asks, his voice low, probing. What's in it for me? Chelsea's eyes glint with certainty. I'm going to make sure all of your dreams come true if you step down. Damon's brow arches, surprise flickering across his face. You know what I desire? She smirks, thinking she's got him pegged. You're the usual noble type. Fame, money, all that jazz. Damon tilts his head, considering her words. The Duke's the best person to give me those things. Chelsea nods, but her voice takes on a conspiratorial edge. Sure, the Duke's in power now. But think about the future. I'll be the Duke sooner or later. She locks eyes with him, her stare intense, commanding. Go to Adam. Tell him you're stepping down. The room feels heavier now, that strange scent swirling thicker, wrapping around them like a spell. Chelsea's confident too, confident thinking everything's falling into place. But then Damon's voice cuts through, calm and unshaken. I'm not interested. Her jaw drops, shock breaking through her composure. It's not supposed to go like that, she coughs out, the words slipping before she can stop them. Damon's eyes sharpen. He knows. The charm fragrance, a dark magic meant to twist hearts and minds into submission, didn't touch him. He sensed it the moment he walked in, thanks to the knowledge from his past life. That scent, potent enough to turn anyone else into her puppet, was nothing to him. His authority of greed devoured it whole. Standing slowly, he towers over her. What do you mean, it's not supposed to go that way? Chelsea's rattled, but she scrambles to recover, her voice rising. Why are you rejecting me when I promised you everything? Damon moves toward the door, his steps deliberate. I don't need your help. What I want isn't something you can give. Chelsea's composure cracks completely. What do you want so badly? She screams, desperation creeping in. He pauses, his voice dropping to a grave, unshakable tone. All I want is my family's happiness. Her eyes widen, stunned into silence. Damon keeps walking, tossing a final warning over his shoulder. Tell Guo to prepare for the match between us. Chelsea's not ready to lose. Her voice turns venomous as she plays her last card. Step down, or I'll hurt your family. Before the words fully leave her mouth, Damon's a blur. In an instant, he's across the room, pinning her to the table, his hand tight around her neck. Chelsea gasps, her confidence shattered. Guards burst in, swords drawn, but Damon's faster. In a flash, he releases Chelsea and flicks his blade, leaving shallow cuts on the guards' necks. They clutch their throats, groaning in pain. "Apply a potion," Damon says coolly. "I made the cuts shallow." His gaze locks back on Chelsea, his voice low and menacing. "I'm tempted to slit your throat, but I'll control myself. Consider it mercy. Look forward to what I have in store for you." His face is a storm of restrained fury, leaving Chelsea frozen in fear. Just then, Rebecca rushes in, her voice frantic. "Chelsea, are you fine?" Chelsea's seething, her anger boiling over as she glares after Damon. "I'll annihilate him no matter what it takes," she screams, her voice echoing. She whirls, shouting, "Mustang Fury!" A hulking, grotesque mage lumbers into the room, Mustang Fury. Chelsea's voice is sharp as she demands, "Why didn't the charm fragrance work on him?" Mustang Fury scratches his head, uneasy. "I have no idea. There are rare cases of people immune to dark magic. He might be one of them." Chelsea's fury erupts. She hurls an object at him, her voice shaking with rage. "Where's Guillermo?" "At the tavern," Mustang Fury replies. "Said he needed to blow off steam after what happened." Chelsea's incredulous. "He's got a match tomorrow, and he's drinking?" She turns back to Mustang Fury, her eyes narrowing. "Is Gumo up to the task of beating Damon?" Mustang Fury's voice is steady, almost smug. "Gumo's a masterpiece, designed by Yulan themselves. I've never seen a knight with greater dark magic affinity." He leans in, reassuring her. "Yulan promised to make you the Duke. Stay calm." Chelsea's face twists, her voice cold as steel. "You'd better keep your word, or I'll kill you." Unbeknownst to them, Damon's perched outside, high on the window ledge, catching every word. Yulan. Dark mages? It all clicks. The energy he felt from Gumo wasn't just skill, it was dark magic. He slips away, heading to the training room. Settling into a cross-legged position, he meditates, the faint sound of Victor's snoring in the background. Damon's mind races. He didn't expect to cross paths with Yulan again so soon, but now he knows Chelsea's tied to the dark mages, and Gumo's their weapon. The fight ahead just got a lot bigger. Damon's been sensing something off about Gumo ever since he felt that strange, dark energy radiating from him. It's not just a hunch, it's dark magic, no question. He's been experimenting with his new sword, tapping it lightly to create these eerie sound waves, like ripples of power. Instead of running to the Duke to explain, Damon decides to let his actions do the talking. The sun's barely up when Gumo struts into the arena, oozing confidence, certain he's got this duel in the bag. In the stands, Pell and his brothers are buzzing with excitement. They ask Pabel who he thinks will win. Pabel, sizing up the situation, says, "Considering their reputation, I think GMO will win." His brothers practically cheer at that, thrilled at the thought of finally being free of Damon. In just 2 days, Damon's been a whirlwind, roughing them up like it's a game. They're convinced he's enjoying it. But Pabel's got a different take. Quietly, he admits he'd love to see Damon lose too, but he can't imagine a world where Gumo comes out on top. Damon steps into the arena, cool and casual as always, like he's just here for a stroll. Gumo tries to play tough, smirking, "I'm impressed that you didn't run away." Damon fires back, "You're blabbing nonsense." The crowd hushes as Adam, the Duke, takes the stage. He lays it out plain. Whoever wins will represent the family in the duel against the Gold Pixies. His eyes flick toward Chelsea, a subtle warning to accept the outcome, no matter what. Deep down, Chelsea's betting on Gumo, certain he's got this. Adam raises his handkerchief, and the duel kicks off. Gumo doesn't waste a second, he pulls out his twin axes, spinning them with a feral grin. "You've made a huge mistake in accepting the duel," he snarls, charging at Damon, ready to prove why they call him the wild beast. But Damon? He doesn't flinch. He just taps his sword, sending out a sound wave that slams into Gumo mid-charge. The impact's brutal. Gumo's sent flying backward, crashing hard into the dirt. "What did you just do to me?" Gumo spits, scrambling to his feet, fury in his eyes. The crowd's just as stunned, whispering, trying to make sense of Damon's bizarre technique. Gumo's livid, shouting, "You're using some weird sorcery technique." He charges again, axes flashing, but Damon stands his ground, calm as ever. Tap, 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 more sound waves ripple out, hitting Gumo like invisible fists. They're tearing him apart from the inside. He's panting now, his body trembling as the waves keep coming, relentless. Soon, they reach his brain, and Gumo doubles over, vomiting a sickly black substance. The crowd gasps. Gumo, barely holding it together, musters enough strength to snarl, "You be?" But Damon's done playing. He taps his sword one last time, unleashing a massive wave. It crashes into Gumo, shattering his armor, and whatever dark power's been fueling him. Right there, in front of everyone, Gumo collapses, spewing more of that dark, inky substance. It's like his body's purging itself, shrinking as the black ooze pours out. Adam's in the stands, baffled, turning to Jael. "Why's Gumo acting all weird?" he asks. Jael's starting to piece it together, and so is Adam. Chelsea, watching from the sidelines, realizes she's in deep trouble. Gumo's a mess, barely human now, drained of everything. Damon steps forward, looming over him. "Gumo's true nature has finally been exposed," he says, his voice cutting through the stunned silence. Gumo hits the ground, lifeless, a husk of the warrior he was. "Fake knight," Damon calls him, turning to the Duke. He's about to lay it all bare, to tell Adam exactly what Gumo's been hiding. Picture this: the arena's buzzing with tension, the air thick with shock and betrayal. Everyone's eyes are locked on Damon as he drops a bombshell. Gumo, the so-called knight, isn't just a fraud. He's been juicing himself up with dark magic. Gasps ripple through the crowd. A butler in the stands goes pale, muttering under his breath that if the church catches wind of this, they're all screwed. Adam, the Duke, narrows his eyes at Damon. "You knew about Gumo's true identity before the match, didn't you?" he asks, voice low, like he's trying to keep his anger in check. Damon nods, calm but unapologetic. "Yes." He says he's sorry for keeping it from the Duke, but there's a reason. "I didn't tell you because I wanted to sniff out the real culprit," Damon explains, his tone steady but carrying weight. Adam's jaw tightens, curiosity burning in his eyes, but there's something else, dread, maybe, like he knows what's coming. Damon doesn't hold back. "Dark mages have infiltrated your house," he says, and before anyone can process that, he lands the killing blow. The person working with them is Chelsea. The name hits like a thunderclap. Chelsea freezes, her face a mask of panic. "Father, I have no idea what he's talking about," she pleads, her voice cracking as she tries to salvage herself. But Adam's not buying it. He cradles his head in his hand, disgust written all over his face. He suspected her for a while, deep down, but hearing it confirmed? It's like a knife to the gut. "You brought dark mages into my house," he growls, his voice shaking with rage. "Soldiers, arrest Chelsea and all her accomplices. Lock them in the prison until we figure out who they really are." Chelsea's still fighting, desperate. "I've been framed," she cries as two soldiers grab Gumo, who's too weak to resist, and drag him off the arena like he's nothing. Then they turn to her. She realizes the game's up if they take her, everything's exposed. Her eyes dart to the knights loyal to her. "Protect me," she screams. The knights don't hesitate. They charge the soldiers, blades flashing, trying to carve a path for Chelsea to escape. Chaos erupts. Adam's had enough. "Jael," he barks, "apprehend my daughter." Jael steps into the arena, and the air shifts. His presence is heavy, like a storm rolling in. His eyes glow with an eerie intensity, and the knights falter, feeling the weight of his aura. "Step aside," he commands, voice like steel. They know they're outmatched, but they're loyal or desperate. "Run, Chelsea!" they shout, gripping their swords tighter, ready to hold Jael off. Big mistake. Jael draws his blade, and the arena seems to hold its breath. "You've taken the very wrong turn," he says, his voice low and final. He swings, and the sheer force of his aura tears through the knights like paper. Blood sprays, bodies collapse, sliced clean in half. Chelsea barely dodges the swing, stumbling back, her face pale as she lands in a pool of blood. She screams, horror choking her as Jael strides toward her, his figure looming like death itself. "Stay away from me," she sobs, crawling backward. In a last-ditch effort, she turns to Ernst, her voice breaking. "Please save me." Ernst makes a choice, one that Damon knows is suicide. He leaps between Chelsea and Jael, sword raised. Damon's stomach twists. "He's asking for death," he mutters to himself. Jael pauses, his blade still gleaming with blood. "Ernst," he says, his tone softer but no less menacing, "you've done great things for this house. The Duke values you. But if you protect her, I'll have no choice but to execute you." His aura swirls around him, a terrifying wave of power that promises exactly what he's warning. Ernst hesitates, the weight of Jael's words sinking in. He's not stupid. He knows he's out of his depth. His sword clatters to the ground, and he drops to his knees, defeated. The soldiers seize their chance, grabbing Chelsea as she thrashes. "I'm innocent," she screams, but Adam's done listening. "Shut your mouth, you worthless piece of trash," he spits, his voice dripping with finality. The arena falls silent, the weight of betrayal hanging heavy as Chelsea's dragged away, her fate sealed. Where Adam's voice cuts through like a blade. He's staring down Chelsea, his daughter, his eyes burning with disgust. "Your actions," he growls, "might come back to bite the family." He's furious, practically spitting the words. Chelsea's dragged the whole household into a mess, and Adam's not holding back. "The greatest mistake I made," he says, his voice low and venomous, "was making Chelsea a part of my life. Is less than #0. 5 is greater than." Chelsea's face crumples, tears streaming down her cheeks. She screams at him, her voice raw, "I have nothing to do with everything that is happening." But Adam's done. He's had enough of her voice, her defiance. He waves a hand at the guards. "I'm done hearing her annoying voice," he says coldly. "Silence her and remove her from my sight." The guards move fast, clamping a hand over Chelsea's mouth, dragging her away as her muffled cries echo down the corridor. In the shadows, Damian watches, a sly smile curling his lips. Another enemy off the board. Days later, the air shifts to something darker. In a grim dungeon, soldiers are working over captured knights, inflicting pain to pry out secrets. One knight, battered and broken, spills the truth. "I fell for Chelsea's suggestion after smelling a strange scent." Jael, listening nearby, feels his gut twist. It hits him like a punch. Chelsea's been scheming, spreading her influence through the Duke's household, with dark mages pulling the strings. He's crushed, muttering to himself, "Why would Chelsea do such a thing?" Meanwhile, Chelsea's locked in her own cell, her body bruised from torture. She's alone, her mind racing with bitterness. "It's all your fault," she whispers, blaming Adam for everything. Growing up, all she wanted was his approval, his acknowledgement. But no matter what she did, bringing him flowers, trying to please him, he'd look at her like she was nothing, tossing her gifts aside like trash. Those cold eyes of his still haunt her. Why did he hate her so much? A servant slides a tray of food into her cell. Chelsea grabs it, eating with fierce determination. She's not ready to die like trash. "I'll do everything to survive," she vows, shoving food in her mouth. But the servant lingers, watching her with a creepy, unblinking stare that sends a chill down her spine. Elsewhere, the scene shifts to a warmer, yet tense moment. Damon's summoned to Adam's chambers. Adam pours them wine, the firelight glinting off the glasses. Damon takes a sip, nodding. "This is good," he says. Adam chuckles, impressed. "It's not expensive," he replies, but it's my favorite wine. He gulps his down, loosening up, and offers Damon a plate of cheese from the Blanco region. Goes well with the wine, Adam assures him. Damon tears into it, grateful, but the conversation takes a sharp turn. Adam drops a bombshell. I finally accepted help from the church concerning Chelsea's case. Damon's caught off guard. He figured Adam would handle it himself. Adam shrugs, admitting his plan fell apart. All of the dark mages escaped our grasp, he says, frustration creeping into his voice. Damon's stunned. Not a single mage was captured? He asks, wishing he'd been more involved. Adam nods, explaining he's handed the hunt over to the church. Damon presses. Did Chelsea say anything about the mages' identities? Is less than #0. 5 is greater than. Adam shakes his head. Her lips remain tight, even after all the torture. She's a tough girl. Then Adam's voice softens, and he starts unraveling Chelsea's story. She was never like this, he says, almost to himself. He tells Damian about her mother, a commoner he met while hunting as a young man. A fleeting moment led to her pregnancy, and Adam couldn't stomach the idea of a commoner carrying his blood. He cast Chelsea and her mother out. Years later, curiosity got the better of him. He learned Chelsea's mother died of the plague, but Chelsea survived. That's when he brought her into the household. Adam pauses, staring into his wine. Why did I even bring her in? He mutters. Damian, choosing his words carefully, says, maybe because she was family. The word hits Adam hard. He wonders if Chelsea's schemes were just her desperate way of trying to earn his approval, to be seen as family. She could have lived a normal noblewoman's life, Adam says, his voice heavy with regret. He laughs bitterly, blaming the wine for making him spill his guts. Sorry for dumping my life story on you, he tells Damian. Just then, a butler bursts in, his face pale. Something bad has happened, he gasps. Adam's heart sinks, bracing for the worst. The news hits like a hammer. The guards found Chelsea in her cell, swinging from the ceiling. 4 days after her death, everything points to the fact that she feels heavy with secrets and betrayal. Just 4 days ago, Chelsea's lifeless body was found, swinging from the ceiling of her cell. Everyone says she took her own life, and with her death, the investigation into her accomplices fizzled out. Her grave? Plain, unmarked punishment for dragging her family's name through the mud. But Damian, sharp and restless, isn't buying it. He's pacing, lost in thought, convinced this isn't the end. Yulan, that shadowy figure pulling strings, won't just let this go. Damian's sure of it. Suddenly, his annoying servant snaps him back to reality, griping, Victor was complaining about how Damian arranges his dirty laundry without considering who is washing them. Meanwhile, the streets are a mess of despair. Ernst, Chelsea's old guard, is sprawled out, drunk, drowning his grief in booze. He's been with her since she was a kid, listening to her chatter about picking flowers from the field where her parents met, hoping to win her father's approval. But those flowers, her father tossed them like garbage. Ernst is gutted, blaming himself for failing her. Why didn't I die alongside Chelsea? He mutters, slamming his fists into his own body, punishing himself for surviving. Then, out of the shadows, Rebecca appears, all bright and bold. Ernst's eyes blaze when he sees her. He lunges, grabbing her by the neck. Why are you so brave to show yourself? He snarls, choking her as he blames her for Chelsea's death. Rebecca, gasping, tries to calm him. Ernst, listen, she pleads, but he's ready to snap her neck. Then she drops a bombshell. I'm trying to get revenge for my late mistress, she says. Ernst freezes. The house claimed Chelsea sent herself to the afterlife, but this is not true. She died because she was not able to withstand the torture inflicted on her. Ernst's rage reignites. You got any proof to support her claim? He demands. Rebecca's voice is steady. Chelsea is not the kind of person to terminate herself. I heard from those who recovered Chelsea's body that there were torture marks all over her body. These are wounds that are so severe that no normal person would have endured them. The wounds are deep enough to cause death. She leans in. The duchy terminated Chelsea and covered it up by saying it was a self-termination. Ernst's world tilts. He knows the Duke is capable of this. Rebecca keeps going, admitting, "I actually approached Chelsea because I had an ulterior motive, but she was treated like a human by Chelsea. Because of what I feel for Chelsea, I can't look over what happened to her." Her voice is fierce. "I'm going to need your help." As she speaks, she grabs his hand, and a strange, sweet scent fills the air, her charm fragrance. Ernst, broken and vulnerable, falls under its spell. "What do you want me to do?" he asks, his voice hollow. She whispers her plan, and he stumbles off into the night. Mustang Fury steps out, smirking. "Nice work, Rebecca," he says. "I was worried that the spell might not work on Ernst since he is a middle-class knight." Rebecca's grin is wild, almost unhinged. No matter how strong someone is, they always have a weakness in their heart. If that weakness grows, it is much easier to get the said person under the influence. For Ernst, his weakness is Chelsea. She laughs, sharp and cruel. Ernst is so dumb not to have figured out Chelsea's real killer. He will basically lose his mind the moment he finds out who is behind Chelsea's mysterious death. She turns to Mustang. "Do we have to go after Damian?" Mustang's eyes narrow. "We can't just sit around while Damian runs wild. We learned from our spy that it was Damian who killed Agato. Damon has interfered with the plan entrusted to us by our big boss. Just by doing this, Damon is worthy of death." Mustang pauses. "Damon doesn't know who we are yet. The duchy thinks we have run away. That's our golden chance to kill Damian." Cut to the training hall, where Damon's meditating, calm but alert. Shadows move behind him, 3 figures with wooden swords, lunging in sync. He doesn't flinch, parrying all 3 with ease before knocking them flat. It's Pell and his blood brothers, groaning on the floor. Damon sighs, disappointed. "I gave you the chance to ambush me, and you still could not land a hit on me." The trio drops to their knees, apologizing. "We are a total waste of seamen," Pable mutters, bracing for punishment. But Damon surprises them. "Training is over," he says. They blink, confused. "You sure?" they ask. Damon smirks. "You still interested in training more?" They shake their heads fast. Pable's still puzzled Damon's not beating them senseless like usual. "Go rest," Damon tells them. "The match against the Liam Blooms is in 2 days. Think carefully about everything that I have taught you." The trio exchanges looks, baffled. "We can't recall learning anything other than getting battered every day," they whisper. Damon's disappointed they missed the point of his training. It wasn't just about physical strength. He had something else in store for them the entire time. But then he notices Pable, quiet, thinking hard. Damon smiles. Maybe Pable's starting to get it. He pulls off his weighted sandbags, eyes gleaming, ready for the duel. Soon, Adam and his men arrive at the leafy plains where the duel's set to go down. House Leon Bloom stands across from them, and Adam turns to Damon. "How does the house appear to you?" Damon squints. They appear to be a very high-level army. Their individual skills appear to be quite at the top too. Adam laughs. Lion Bloom takes pride in training his soldiers well. A messenger from the other side rides up. "Liam Bloom wants the representatives to meet before the duel begins," he says. Adam nods. No reason not to. Over at Lion Bloom's camp, Holland storms into his son's tent to find Michael still sprawled on his bed. He kicks the bed frame. "We need to meet Adam's men, and you're busy sleeping." Michael groans, rolling over. "You're being too loud." Holland snaps. "This duel against the duchy is important." Michael flops back, muttering, "I'm not interested." Holland tries a new angle. "Fine, I'll face Damian myself." That gets Michael's attention. "Damon is in the Duke's group?" he asks, sitting up. Holland nods. Damon was the one selected by the Duke to represent them. Michael's eyes light up, and he's suddenly all in, ready for the fight. Not long after, the 2 camps face off, tension crackling in the air as Adam steps forward, ready to size up his opponent. All right, picture this. A tense meeting under a grey sky, the air thick with unspoken grudges. Holland strolls in late, despite being the one who called for this gathering. He's got that smug grin, locking eyes with Adam. "What's got you so mad, huh? Something this small?" Holland teases, his voice dripping with mock concern. Adam fires back with a laugh, but it's sharp, like a blade catching light. The tension between them crackles, obvious to everyone watching. Yahello clears his throat, cutting through the banter. "Let's focus," he says, grounding the moment. Holland turns to him, all charm. "Yahello, it's been ages. Come on, join my household. The duchy's gotta be boring you to death." Yahello's response is flat, unshaken. "I've pledged my allegiance to the Duke." No interest. Holland smirks, tossing a sly dig at Adam. "Suit yourself." Then, Holland's eyes catch Damon standing behind Adam. His face darkens, rage flaring. Damon's the guy who humiliated his knights, and his son, Michael. Holland's itching to throw a punch himself. Damon, though, he just stands there, smiling like he's daring Holland to try. That smile unsettles Holland. Something's off. A high-class knight like him shouldn't feel this tense. Not in front of Damon, a low-class knight. Is it Damon's hidden potential? Holland wonders, a chill creeping up his spine. He grudges the thought, but, deep down, he knows Damon might just be on par with his son, Michael. That's when Michael snaps. Damon's presence flips a switch in him. Without a second thought, he reaches for his sword, eyes blazing, stance ready to strike. Damon doesn't flinch, still wearing that infuriating smile. Holland's voice cuts through the haze. "Michael, drop it," he barks. Michael blinks, stunned, as if waking from a trance. He didn't even realize he'd drawn his weapon. Yahello's voice booms next, sharp with disapproval. "You dare pull a weapon in front of the Duke?" Adam steps in, his tone cold. "Drawing a blade against a noble is a grave sin, Michael." Holland tries to smooth it over. "He only drew it out of his desire to win," he says, but Adam's not buying it. "I'm not overlooking this," Adam replies, his eyes narrowing. "How do you plan to pay for your son's mistake?" Holland's gut twists. Michael's impulsive move just made everything messier. He knows his son saw Damon as some wild beast that needed taming. Adam, ever the opportunist, seizes the moment. "I was going to suggest cancelling the duel," he says, pausing for effect, "but I won't. Instead, I'd like to add a few more terms to it." Holland groans inwardly but has no choice. He nods, accepting the terms. He and Michael head back to their camp, the weight of the moment lingering. Damon, watching it all, is quietly impressed. Adam played that perfectly, turning Michael's mistake into leverage. Adam glances at Damon, curious. "Strange, isn't it? Michael drawing his sword at you like that." Damon plays it cool. "No idea why he did that," he says, but inside, he's marveling. Michael's awakened his sixth sense at such a young age, a rare gift. Damon's already hyped for the duel. This one's going to be good. Meanwhile, Holland pulls Michael aside. "Why'd you draw your sword?" he demands. "You could have put our family in danger." Michael's eyes gleam. "Did you see Damon's reaction? He knew I was going to draw it, but he just stood there, smiling. Like he didn't care." Michael's practically buzzing. I've never met an opponent like him. He might be the one I've been waiting for. Holland gets it now. Michael's been bored, crushing weak opponents. Damon's different, a real challenge. Michael's face lights up, hungry for the fight. But Michael's got a nagging worry. "Those terms we had to accept because of me, can we do anything about it?" Holland's unfazed. "Don't sweat it," he says, voice steady. "Our victory's certain." The scene shifts. The duel's about to kick off. The referee's voice rings out. Representatives from both sides, step forward. Adam turns to Damon. "It's the first match. We need momentum. Who should we send?" Before Damon can answer, Sebastian Venenzo struts in, all confidence. I train the knights, he declares. I should pick someone suitable. Damon raises an eyebrow. This is his first time seeing the so-called Venenzo. Guy's a joke, training Pable and his useless brothers. Damon clocks it instantly. Venenzo's worried Damon's stealing his spotlight. Fine. Damon steps back. Let him have his moment, he tells Adam. Adam nods. Venenzo, pick a knight. To everyone's surprise, Sebastian nominates his own son, Fabian Venenzo. He's betting big, certain Fabian will win and earn Adam's favor. Adam's intrigued. He's heard good things about Fabian and genuinely hopes the kid pulls it off. The stage is set, and as Lion Bloom steps up to present their side's fighter, the tension spikes, ready to explode into the first clash. All right, picture this. A dusty arena, the air thick with tension, the crowd buzzing like angry bees. The duel's kicking off, and Fabian's strutting out, chest puffed with noble pride, facing a stocky, rough-looking guy named Ronald. Fabian's practically vibrating as he bellows, I am Fabian! State your name and house! Ronald just shrugs, voice flat. I'm Ronald. No family. No house. The words hit Fabian like a slap. A commoner? His face twists, blood rushing as he grips his sword, ready to crush this nobody. Ronald doesn't flinch. He smirks. You're like the rest of the nobles. All talk. That's it. Fabian's done. He charges, blue aura swirling like a storm. He swings, aiming to end it fast, but Ronald sidesteps like it's nothing. Fabian stumbles, and Ronald's already moving, his counterattack brutal. He's grinning, tossing insults. Pathetic loser, he taunts, as Fabian's swings get wilder. Then, in a flash, Ronald catches him off guard, slicing clean through Fabian's hand. The arm flies, blood sprays, and Fabian's face lights up in shock. The crowd gasps. Adam, on the sidelines, freezes as his knight's arm hits the dirt. Vincenzo, up in the stands, clutches his head, realizing the mess he's thrown his son into. Ronald looms over Fabian, mocking. Don't act all mighty and big in my presence. Fabian's writhing, screaming, as medics drag him off. Holland, watching, lets a slow smile creep across his face. This is his moment. Damon's not surprised. He knew Fabian was weak, but this week? That's a shock. Adam's fuming. Lamb Blooms were supposed to win matches, not chop off arms, he snaps at Damon. What now? We've lost the first match. Adam suggests, what if you fight, Damon? Damon shakes his head. Not yet. If I go out for the second match and Michael shows up for the third, we're done. He pauses. I've got someone else. Adam's eyes narrow. Who? Pable, Damon says, like it's obvious. Pable, hearing his name, looks like he'll pass out. Me? He squeaks. Damon claps his shoulder. Remember the training. All those times I trashed you? That was for this. Pable's shaking, but his blood brothers crowd around, hyping him up. You've got this, Pable. We believe in you. Adam's skeptical. Pable's never stood out, just a scrappy kid, always in over his head. But Damon's dead serious. I gave him special training for this duel. He'll win. Pable's sweating buckets as he steps into the arena, knees wobbling. Then he sees his opponent, Hui Celestion, a towering knight radiating power. One look, and Pable knows he's outmatched. Huey's got a smug grin, expecting Damon. No, Damon, he says, bored. Fine. I'll end this quick. He levels his weapon and charges, the ground shaking. Picture this, a dusty arena, the crowd buzzing with tension, and young Pable, heart pounding, caught in a fight he never thought he'd survive. He's still shaking, convinced he's out of his depth, when Hui's sword comes flashing toward him. Just as it's about to strike, Pable's instincts kick in. He blocks it, pure reflex. He hits the ground hard, stunned, while Hui, wide-eyed, says, "You're better than I thought." Pable's just as shocked, muttering to himself, "Beginner's luck, that's all." Hui doesn't let up, charging again. Pabble leaps back, dodging the blade, eyes sharp as he spots the dust kicking up. He senses Hui's next move, a surprise attack, and blocks it clean. Hui's thrown off now, thinking, something's wrong. He shouldn't be this good. Pabble standing his ground, barely believing it himself. He's holding his own against Hui, way better than he ever expected. Behind him, Damon's watching with a sly grin, like he knew this was coming. See, Pabble's been hammered by Damon's swordsmanship, the legendary Great Lion sword art of House Lion Bloom, over and over in training. All those beatdowns taught his body to react on its own, dodging and parrying like it's second nature. Damon's so sure of it, he thinks Pabble could block these moves blindfolded. Pabble catches on, realizing Hui's using the same style as Damon, just slower. Damon's on another level, he thinks, gratitude washing over him for all those brutal lessons. Fear slips away, and Pabble fights smarter, sharper. He pushes forward, breaking through Hui's guard. His sword grazes Hui's face, stopping short of his neck. The crowd gasps impossible. Hui's on his butt, Pabble's blade at his throat. The referee shouts, "Pabble wins!" His friends from House Gold Pixie lose it, roaring in disbelief. Even Michael, watching from the sidelines, mutters, "Who is stronger? How'd he lose?" Now, the final showdown looms. Michael steps into the arena, and the Duke's face tightens. He knows what Michael's capable of. Damon strides forward, smirking, "I'm excited to go up against you, Michael." Michael grins back, "I've been waiting for someone like you." He sees Damon as an equal, someone who can finally give him the fight he craves. Damon just scoffs. "Equal, huh?" Flashback to moments before, Hui's groveling to Holland, begging for death after his loss. "You disgraced us," he thinks, but Holland's calm. "Get up." "It wasn't your fault," he says. "You were stronger, but something was off." Holland's not worried Michael's their ace. But a nagging doubt creeps in. The Great Lion sword art is their family's secret. How did Pabble counter it so perfectly? Michael's mind is elsewhere, buzzing with excitement. "Father, I've finally found someone like me," he tells Holland, who nods. "You'll win." As a kid, Michael lived for swordsmanship, dreaming of epic battles. But the world disappointed him. Nobody could match him. He dominated every opponent, even the so-called legends, until winning felt hollow. He'd sheathed his sword, bored until Damon appeared. Back in the arena, Michael charges, blade gleaming. Damon stands still, one hand in his pocket, and effortlessly dodges. Before Michael can blink, Damon lands a blow, then a kick that sends him flying. Michael scrambles up, unleashing a powerful sword technique, but Damon's untouchable. Suddenly, Damon's beside him, still casual, hand in pocket. Michael goes all in, launching an aerial strike. A deafening explosion shakes the arena, dust everywhere. When it clears, Damon's standing there, unharmed. Michael snaps, "Stop dodging and fight." Damon finally reaches for his sword, and Michael's sure he'll land a hit first. But in a flash, Michael's sword is sliced in half. His mind reels as he sees his own head follow, blood spraying, then nothing. The arena's pristine, no fight, no blood. It was a vision, a glimpse of what Damon could have done. Michael's on his knees, trembling, looking up at Damon, a towering figure he'll never touch. "I yield," he whispers, bowing. The crowd's stunned. House Gold Pixie claims the third victory, sealing the duel. The clash of swords is over, and House Gold Pixie stands triumphant, claiming their third victory in the duel. The air buzzes with tension and celebration as the Duke throws a grand banquet, inviting House Leon Bloom to join. The hall is alive with clinking glasses and forced smiles. The Leon Bloom Knights want to thank Adam, the Duke, for his hospitality, but they're frozen under their master's glare. Holland's eyes burn like a cornered beast. Adam, all charm and confidence, steps in to ease the mood. "Forget the beef," he tells the Marquis, his voice smooth but firm. "Enjoy the moment." He pours Holland a drink, a victor's gesture, and hands it over with a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. Holland takes it, his mind racing. Why did Michael surrender? He wonders, gripping the glass. Some kind of misfortune? He's convinced this whole party is just Adam rubbing salt in his wounds, a public mockery of their defeat. Meanwhile, across the room, Damon stares into the flickering fireplace, the glow casting shadows on his face. He's done it, brought victory to the Duke's house, and sent a clear message to the Leon Blooms: don't mess with his family. But his mind's already on the next threat, those dark mages still out there. Suddenly, Michael appears, breaking his thoughts. Mind if I sit? He asks, settling beside Damon before he can answer. Damon's caught off guard, but what comes next shocks him more. Michael, the man he bested, starts praising him. I really respect you, Michael says, pouring Damon a drink with a steady hand. Damon's brow furrows. What's going on here? Michael keeps going, his voice earnest. I never thought I'd meet someone at my level or someone who surpasses me. But I'm happy to have met you, Damon. He pauses, then corrects himself. No, you're far greater than I am. Damon's mind reels. This is the guy whose ally, Erwin, he just beat into the dirt. Yet here's Michael, acting like they're old friends. I still don't understand what happened, Michael admits, his gaze distant. But I could sense what would have happened if we'd crossed swords. And there it is, the truth hits Damon like a blade. Michael's awakened super senses, just like his own. In his mind, Michael fought Damon and saw the outcome, a crushing defeat. For the first time, Michael felt real fear, the kind King Meruem once knew. Damon realizes those senses saved Michael's life. Without them, he'd have lost more than an arm, he'd be dead. Michael looks up at the starry sky, his voice quiet but heavy. The world is bigger than I thought. Damon seizes the moment. Got a word of advice? He asks. Michael nods. Yes. The world is vast, Damon says, leaning forward. Your talent's rare, but it's not unique. In the Empire alone, there are at least 3 people stronger than you. He lets that sink in. Don't get complacent. He confesses his own past arrogance, how Dorgo's defeat shattered it. Michael's eyes narrow. You still think like that? That someone's stronger? Damon smirks, cutting through the tension. I'm the strongest now. Michael starts to argue, but Damon waves him off. I'm saying don't slack until you're at my level. Michael nods, taking it to heart. I'll always remember that. Just then, Adam and Holland approach, their shadows looming. Adam's grin is wide. Already getting close, huh? He says, impressed. Damon and Michael bow. Why are you here, Your Grace? They ask. Adam's tone shifts, businesslike. I'm done talking to Holland. Came to see you two. Turns out, before the duel, Adam and Holland had a deal. If Damon won, Holland would grant him access to the Marquis' vault. But Holland's dragging his feet, and Adam had to twist his arm for a new arrangement. Holland's seething his grudge against Damon for humiliating Erwin burns hot. Still, he swallows it, for now. I'm sorry, Holland says, his voice tight, for sending knights to your home as a show of force. Damon sees through it, no mention of Erwin, no sincerity. Then Holland drops a bombshell. I can't open the vault, he says, but I have something else. He hands Damon a ring, its surface gleaming with faint runes. A dimensional artifact from the White Tower, capable of storing 100 kilograms of items. Damon's eyes widen, it's worth a small castle. He doesn't like Holland dodging the original deal, but he lets it slide. Thank you, he says, slipping the ring on. Holland's quick to add, I'm ready to give you something else if you want, but the vault's off limits. Damon knows the Marquis' armory is still brimming with treasures, but for now, this ring and the victory are enough. Picture this, Damon standing there, mulling over his options, when it hits him like a bolt of lightning. There's something he wants, something he knows is waiting back at the Lion Bloom estate. He turns to Holland, his voice steady but carrying that edge of purpose. I'd like a bow, he says. Holland blinks, thrown off by the request, like Damian just asked for a pet dragon. A bow? Weird, unexpected, but Damon's got his reasons. He leans in, his tone dropping, serious. I need it because I'm planning to marry off my younger brother, Abel. Cut to Abel, back at the estate, laughing, carefree, probably chasing some harmless fun. Then, out of nowhere, a shiver crawls down his spine, like he can feel Damon's plans locking into place from miles away. Fast forward, Damon's back from the duel, striding up to the Duke with that calm, unshakable confidence. I'm ready to leave, he says. The Duke's eyebrows shoot up, surprised Damon's already itching to head back to his estate. Adam, ever the gracious host, tries to slow him down. A banquet's being prepared for you, he says, gesturing like he's rolling out a red carpet. Stay for that. But Damon's not swayed. His voice softens, but there's steel underneath. I've been away from my family too long already. I need to go back. Adam pushes a bit, urging Damon to wait until tomorrow so he can arrange escorts. Damon's surprised at the mention of escorts, and the Duke chuckles, acknowledging Damon's strength. You're strong, he says, but I want you safe. Bandits could be lurking on the road. Damon knows he could handle any trouble himself, but he sees the Duke's genuine concern. Not wanting to dismiss the gesture, he nods. Thank you for everything, he says, his gratitude real, but brief. Soon, Damon and his servant Victor are on the move, leaving the gold pixie estate behind. The Duke sent 2 knights as escorts, but Victor's the one trudging along on foot, grumbling under his breath. I'm just glad we're finally going home, Victor says, relief clear in his voice. That mess you caused is done with. Damon shoots him a sharp look, his eyes narrowing. Say what's on your mind, he says, daring Victor to keep going. Victor glances away, muttering about how much easier the trip was when they weren't stuck walking. Then, with a cheeky jab, he adds, You're comfy up there on your horse, huh? Damon smirks, noticing Victor's gotten a bit soft around the edges. I'll whip you back into shape when we get home, he says, half teasing, half promising. As the sun dips low, painting the sky in shades of fire, the knights call out to Damon. We're setting up camp, one says. Damon gives a nod, and soon the camp's ready, the smell of Victor's grilled meat filling the air. Victor, ever the dutiful servant, serves Damon and calls to the knights standing watch. Come join us, he says. The knights wave him off politely. We'll eat later, they reply, sticking to their posts. Damon's mind drifts, pulling him back to his farewell at the gold pixie estate. Pavel was clinging to him, tears in his eyes, practically begging. Don't leave just yet, he said, voice cracking. Damon's still wondering why Pavel and his brothers were so clingy all of a sudden. Pavel's voice echoes in his memory, full of awe. You've opened my eyes to a new level of strength. Thank you. Damon had brushed it off, telling Pavel, You worked hard too. The Duke chimed in, his tone firm but warm. We'll never forget the lessons you gave us. The 3 of them, Pavel and his brothers, bowed low, their respect for Damon clear as day, holding him up as their master. Back in the present, a rustle in the woods snaps Damon out of his thoughts. One of the knights steps forward, hand on his sword. I'll check it out, he says. Damon starts to wave it off. Don't worry, but the knight's already moving, duty-bound. Then, out of nowhere, a spear black with dark magic cuts through the air. It slams into the knight, pinning him to a tree with a sickening thud. Chaos erupts. A voice slithers from the woods, dripping with menace. I'm surprised the Duke assigned escorts for Damian, it says, mocking. But they're not strong enough to stop me. In he do then, into the clang, in the ragged vodas. The figure steps into the flickering campfire light, and it's earnest, twisted, terrifying, consumed by the dark mage's influence. Behind him, Mustang and Rebecca emerge, their presence chilling. A strange, sweet fragrance rolls off them, curling toward Damon and his group. The second knight sways, eyes glazing over, caught in the spell. But Damon, he's untouched, his will like iron. He glances at Victor, sees him starting to waver, and acts fast, knocking him out cold to save him from the charm. Rebecca's voice cuts through the haze, commanding the second knight. "Spin your own head," she says, cruel and cold. Damon lunges, trying to stop him, but it's too late. The knight's hands move, and in a horrifying twist, he spins his own head off, collapsing in a heap. Now it's just Damon against the trio. Rebecca's eyes gleam, intrigued. "I'm impressed you weren't affected by the bewitching scent," she says, tilting her head like she's studying him. "Even though you're a low-level knight, you must have a strong constitution." Her curiosity twists into something darker. She turns to Mustang, her voice eager. "We need to kill Damon and dissect him so we can learn more about him." Damon's stance shifts, every muscle ready, his eyes locked on the trio. The air crackles with tension as he braces for their attack. An air of mystery hung in the moonlit forest. The male figure, his face now fully visible, revealed a deep-seated hatred. "We meet at last, Damian Haxen," he spat. "I'll make sure to rip you apart and offer you up at Lady Chelsea's grave." But Damian was quicker. With a sudden lunge, he struck down the female figure, leaving her writhing in pain on the ground. Damian then turned his attention back to his main opponent, a mocking smirk on his face. "You're utterly laughable. For someone who wet himself out of fear of Sir Gao," he sneered, continuing to twist the knife. "You're really quick to blame others for not being able to protect her." The male figure's face contorted in a mix of fury and humiliation. The female figure, who had now recovered, looked on with a wicked smile, feigning sympathy for her enraged companion. "Oh my. You're so cold-blooded," said Damian. "How could you rub salt into a wounded man's heart?" she giggled. "Is less than #0, 7 is greater than." The three hooded figures stood together, their auras of purple magic pulsing around them. "Don't tell me you actually believe you can take on 3 of us by yourself," one of them challenged. "I don't think you know who we really are." Damian's smirk widened as he casually picked his ear. "You're dark mages of Yulin, and are at least on the rank of executives, right?" The figure's confidence shattered. The female mage gasped, and the male with the mustache looked on in fear. "How? Do you know that?" she stammered. "I have pretty sharp ears," Damian replied with a laugh. Howitz, the tall male mage, refused to be deterred. Your bravado is pointless." With a roar, he channeled immense power into his spear, which grew to a monstrous size. "You die a painful death," he screamed as he launched the attack. Damian stood his ground, a calm smile on his face. Suddenly, a foot stomped the ground, and Sebastian Vincenzo, the middle-class knight, appeared in a flash, deflecting the spear with a strike of his own. Howitz and his companions looked on in shock as Sebastian made quick work of one of them. Sebastian's appearance gave Damian the perfect opportunity to deliver his final blow. "You're quite mistaken," Damian said, a calm confidence in his voice. Sebastian added, "I'm not alone either," confirming his role as Damian's ally. A title card flashed, revealing Sebastian's identity as Ducal House of Golopixie, middle-class knight. The scene shifted to a flashback, revealing Damian's meeting with the Duke and his long-haired assistant. Damian bowed formally to them. "Understood, Your Grace," he said. The Duke looked pleased. "Thank you for everything up until now," he said before adding, "Oh, there's one more favor I must ask of you." The Duke revealed that a man named Ernst Howitz, the same mage Damian and Sebastian just fought, had gone missing. He bore a grudge against the Duke and Damian for Lady Chelsea's death. Damian and the Duke were aware that Howitz and the other dark mages would seek revenge, so the Duke decided to assign Sebastian to be Damian's personal guard. Damian watched as Sebastian entered the room, his mind flashing back to the recent battle. "Sebastian Vincenzo?" he said in disbelief. Back in the present, Sebastian told the enraged Ernst Howitz that Lady Chelsea's death was a suicide. Howitz refused to believe this and screamed at Sebastian. "Don't spout such nonsense. Do you know how steadfast Lady Chelsea was?" A woman like her would never have committed suicide. Howitz then revealed his ultimate, and even more terrifying, truth. I'm saying the Duke killed her. She must have died under cruel interrogation. With a renewed sense of rage, Howitz's magical energy flared. I won't let her death go unvenged. I will kill Damian Haxen, as well as those who interrogated her. And lastly, I will kill the Duke himself. Sebastian scoffed. To think you'd speak of murdering his grace, you're truly out of your mind. Howitz's rage intensified, and he offered Sebastian a chance to live. Leave Damian Haxen behind, and I will spare your life. Sebastian's only response was, What arrogance! Sebastian's refusal infuriated Howitz. A worm like you dares to claim you'll spare me, Sebastian yelled, his body now glowing with blue magical energy. Damian looked on, impressed with the knight's power. Ho, as expected of a middle-class knight, he said with a smile. Howitz, in his arrogance, admitted that Sebastian was once stronger than him. But not anymore, he screamed as he transformed, his body now covered in glowing magical runes. Sebastian gasped in disbelief. You fool! Have you really resorted to black magic? He said, shocked. Howitz's accomplice, the short male mage, then revealed the full extent of his newfound power. I have undergone the same enhancement procedure as Guillermo Blackwing. In exchange for my life force, I gained immense mana and physical strength. Howitz's face contorted into a monstrous grin. Open your eyes wide and witness the strength I have seized, he roared, unleashing a massive, destructive wave of purple magic. The ground shattered around Damian and Sebastian was completely enveloped by the massive blast. Damian watched as the entire area was engulfed in a magical vortex, a large hole in the ground where Sebastian once stood. Damian, unharmed by the attack, smiled, his eyes glowing with a sinister aura. He was ready to fight.